works. It's working.
Fear.
Okay, let's just start with that.
Alright, here.
We're restarting because I don't know. I forgot to hit the record button or
This
something.
for the second take.
Yeah.
Take two.
We could also just be gaslighting it. This could be the
Gaslighting. Yeah.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
actually take 10. Don't
Wait, you guys should do the girl boss episode.
Ah,
There is an
That's
entire
where we
genre
talked about
of movies.
Cruella.
I'm Cruella.
Girl boss.
Okay.
We were thinking about watching Cruella, but then we didn't.
Should we reintroduce ourselves or should we
Sure.
just gaslight them? Okay.
This is
Kurtz
Luke,
and Eddie,
our new
Coleman,
friend.
Ron, our friend Luke.
Luke, he is based.
Yes,
Moving on.
I have based opinions, and I'll be bringing
we're-
this to this fucking degenerate podcast.
We're at his house right now.
Yeah.
It's much better.
It's
Coleman's
still
checking the
recording.
It's
Yeah.
still recording. If it makes a noise, because I did remember in my second, third, fourth, you don't know, diatribe that I did hear a click and then I just kept going.
Yeah.
So for this episode we watched Love, Death and Robots Season 2, Robot Carnival, Fantasia 2000, and Heavy Metal 2000 because this is the Fear
Podcast 2000.
Okay, what's so weird is that you could have had maybe 2 or 3 different genres because you do Love, Death, Robots and the Robot Carnival, and they're like, oh, maybe they're doing robot anthologies.
No.
And then it turns into Fantasia 2000, and you're like, oh, maybe they're just doing anthologies. Then Heavy Metal 2000, and then they're like, oh, this is the 2000 episode.
The year 2000!
Yes, and also the anthology sequel to the other anthology.
Anthology movie 2000!
It's their show, they can do whatever they want.
Exactly.
You can't tell us what isn't fear-inducing.
Yes.
Speaking of fear-inducing, Love, Death and Robots Season 2.
Which is the first thing we're going to talk about because we haven't watched the rest yet. And we want to remember Love, Death, and Robots Season 2.
Because frankly, I don't think I could stomach a rewatch this entire group of episodes.
No.
I was saying in take undetermined that I didn't turn on the camera for that take redacted that maybe they would have been better not binging them because when we watched the first set of episodes, Kirk and I watched them on our own time and texted about them and a little bit, and Luke he had seen the first season and he likes Robot Carnival, so we brought him on. Yeah. Our special guest.
Robot Carnival's good. I really hope that you guys enjoy it when we watch it.
Yeah.
We have it up on the TV screen behind the camera. We're going to watch it between now and...
We were saying that like Love, Death and Robots Season 2 seems like they took Love, Death and Robots Season 1, kept all of the same proportions of like good, great, bad, mediocre, terrible, and just shrunk it down.
So it went from 18 to 8, and it does keep the proportion. So like for instance, in the first season, there was maybe like 3 or 4 great episodes, maybe like 8 or 9 good ones, and then there's just kind of mediocre, bad, forgettable. Yeah, where it's the exact same proportions because I think what they did was that they took just a random
episodes. Yes.
There are like 2 bad ones, but
there's one bad and one awful one.
Yeah, there's oh god. Okay, well the thing is 2 of them could be comparable to Lucky 13, which is a weird.
That's weird.
But none of them are as bad as Lucky 13.
No,
the undisputed worst one.
This one isn't as low, but it's never as high. Zima Blue is still the best.
This one never hits the lows or the highs of the first season.
Zima Blue and Witness are still untouched.
Turns out shrinking the episode count just shrinks the range of quality.
I wonder if it was maybe like a COVID thing where like they had a longer season 2 and then COVID happened and they shrunk it.
Possibly. Because what it feels like is that there are so many reoccurring and brought back creators from the first season.
Yeah.
Like they brought back Robert Valley, who does Ice in this one, which we'll talk about.
He did Zima Blue.
He did Zima Blue, which was fucking amazing. And we also went on a rabbit hole one night where we realized he did.
We can diatribe about that.
We'll diatribe about
Is it time to break down each episode?
Maybe. They bring back a lot of creators. Like it's kind of clear that the 3 Robots guy is the same guy who did. I'm saying it's. I'm using that very gendered neutrally.
Let's pull up the list.
I'm thinking that season 2 didn't do that weird gimmick where they customized the order to how Netflix thinks your sexual orientation is.
Right.
Your sexual.
Some weird Netflix.
It was some weird thing.
They had like 3 different orders.
But anyway, first one coming in at 12 minutes. The time is important. Each one has like.
We talked about
certain amount of time plus 2 minutes of credit. So whenever I say 12, just think 10.
Yeah.
Automated customer service, and this one's fucking.
This one's
mid.
This one's This one's the most solid mid-tier of all of them. It's a standard.
It needed to be there because you need something to fill
it's
time.
Because three robots in the first. It's because Three Robots was one of the good episodes.
This is kind of it's your standard robots rebelling against people in a society where the robots do everything. It's kind of like WALL-E, where everybody's just it's like this retirement community. Yeah, it's like a WALL-E, and the ladies. What if her Roomba was evil? The
Instead of being fat, they're all old.
Yeah.
And the character designs.
The character designs are these like.
It's only her. Everyone else kind of looks a little bit normal.
No, they all have this design.
No one looks normal, but they at least look like that's like an old person caricature.
They're designed,
she felt like a caricature of a character.
They're designed like caricatures of Americans. Like
it looks like Bobblehead or I was mentioning it because I saw.
I said the Land of Confusion Genesis music video.
That's a very specific. It looks like Klasky Chupo, but in 3D.
It looks like real world renders of Phineas and Ferb characters.
What if
the aliens from. I don't know the names because I'm not that much.
Hitchhiker's Guide
to the Galaxy. So, like the really gross ones that are always like corporate, and that's their joke. Yeah. And they're like a mockery of like British governments.
British.
Yeah, whatever. I think everyone knows British. But they have very similar. Like it's weird to call her, but she looks very similar to one of those.
I like how we spent more time talking about the art style.
Well, it's probably the art style is one of the more interesting. Yeah. The other most interesting thing about this one is that when her Roomba vacuum bot rebels against her, she calls customer service, and the customer service is like increasingly telling her how to deal with the robot. Like it seems you have accidentally activated purge mode. Are you willing to throw your pet at the?
That's
vacuum?
a very funny bit where it's like,
come on,
what do you mean? No, do it, and then it just turns to yes.
And the robot, it continues to talk to her. So it's this thing where basically, I'm just checking because I'm paranoid now. I'm
just check it after every short. So
right. Yes. It's just this thing where like I like the idea that the robots.
It happens so much.
It's not this constant. It's not this all the robots turn evil. It's almost like the robots have self-programmed themselves to have uprising things against humans who don't like them, and the customer service bot is just telling the humans how to like. So I suggest you run. Like that's the best.
I like
part
how she keeps trying to get her to kill the dog.
Right.
Like, come on, you know you want
to. The dog had human teeth. I wouldn't. It did have human teeth.
It did have human.
That's easily the best part of the short, and the thing that like makes it entertaining despite the generic premise.
The rest of it is very. Oh my god, she looks like the fucking villain of Madagascar 3.
She kind of.
Madame Dubois.
She does. She kind of does. Speaking of Madagascar 3, that was a terrible transition. What's the next short?
The next one is Ice with Robert Valley.
Ice.
Okay.
Robert Valley deep dive. We watched the first 20 minutes of Madagascar 3 that one time.
Robert Valley tangent.
Robert Valley is a Canadian artist, and I went on a deep dive of him during, I think, a fucking tornado.
Yeah.
Because he did Zima Blue in the first season, which is still the best episode of this entire franchise. And he does a sequel, it's not a sequel, but he does a second one called Ice, and for us it was the second episode we watched because we watched them in order.
The story's pretty kind of throwaway. It's like two brothers.
We'll get to that. He did
Tron Legacy.
It was Tron Uprising.
Legacy's the
he did the Disney XD original show Tron Uprising, which is slept on to shit. So good. And it's like very dark.
How have you seen that but not Gravity Falls?
I think
they were the same time window.
Yeah.
And I've seen snippets and I've seen in the animation community I'm a part of.
Oh, Tron Uprising is gorgeous.
Oh, it looks amazing. Yeah, no, it's anything he touches is fucking amazing.
He has this incredible.
Except we'll get to it.
Except for maybe this short.
No, this short.
No, it's not this short.
The short's fine. The animation's amazing.
Yes, the animation.
The animation is the best part.
So many shots. Like there's one shot where his brother climbs out of the bed. And you can barely it's almost like it's
there's so much movement.
We'll get to this short and specific.
Yeah.
But more thing about Robert Valley. He did Tron Uprising in 2013, the exact same year, which for an animation director must have been fucking hell to have
He did Tron Uprising
and Motor City.
Motor
I don't think
City.
either of you know that, but for any kid of like my age who watched Disney XD and like their childhood,
We're all like
Motor
two.
City.
We're all like 2 years apart.
Yeah, well the thing is this was like minuscule enough to be outside your
Yes,
window and off your
yes.
radar.
Right.
Motor City slapped. It's essentially about it's kind of similar to that one short about like the two cities like above the clouds and below the clouds.
Okay, so
Called Motor City. And essentially
that's a
it got so gentrified and overpopulated and contaminated that Detroit built a second city on top of the first Detroit. And the second
I love
Detroit,
that it's Detroit.
It is Detroit.
specifically.
and the second Detroit on the beneath is just like a giant like speed racer, but like punk, and it's just driving and all that kind of stuff. And then the top is like big business trying to like choke the bottom one out. And then like the daughter of the big business, it's voiced by John DiMaggio. It's the most John DiMaggio looking character ever,
Right.
and he's the villain. His daughter comes down and falls in love with like the main guy who's like down there and below, and they have to collude with like characters such as the King of Detroit, who's really fucking funny. And it's essentially just like a racer of the week show.
I feel like
Okay.
most shows that do this far future, like two cities on top of each other, they never name the city as a specific memorable city from our time.
I think it's because Detroit is like known for cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Detroit's,
That's
yeah,
like
the
cool.
like the motor.
Maybe-
But anyway, Motor
Maybe we
City.
can talk about that
yeah,
later,
Motor
but-
City's fucking good. It was like one of those one season shows and it gets
Yeah,
canned.
I believe
What's
you-
odd about his shows though is that even though they got canned, they had proper endings. Like they didn't just
that's
get
true.
cut and then there was never. They had proper endings.
He
so
gets-
either he
he
had
gets
the head
good
shot,
work, he's
or he
just
was
very
good at like
obscure.
he was like competent enough to write an ending for his shows
Yeah.
if he wasn't sure about
He
it.
gets good
Okay.
work, and his stuff is just
I think he
very
also
I have
did
two more
some
things that I need to
gorilla
bring up
videos.
about it. He did some Wonder Woman thing in like the early 2000s that looks fucking amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did that.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
only this is art style. And he also directed the music videos for the Gorillaz band for the albums Demon Days and Plastic Beach. So so for instance, the music video for Feel Good Inc., Dare, Dirty Harry, El Manana, Melancholy Hill, and I don't know if he did the music video for Silo, which was a different music video for Gorillaz. I believe he was working on the music video for Rhinestone Eyes, but that infamously got cut,
Right.
and the animatic exists online. So he did those videos, and those videos look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. He also was the art director on Invincible.
Oh. Where his style is just not in
No,
that
it is
show.
not his style in that show.
It is
And that
absolutely like
and
in
you
my-
can tell that there was conflict because this motherfucker probably has an attitude. Just based on the things
Yeah,
he
his stuff's very
He was
pop.
he probably just like they probably just hired him, and then like he saw where the rest of the production was going, and he just like
because
Yeah.
because the
Invincible-
animation for Invincible is infamously kind of shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Invincible's good, but it does not.
it's
look
art.
like,
Its art style is very generic superhero, and its
I'm
animation
gonna
is
double.
rough.
No, I saw it on his IMDb. These were all the same spots. I'm not.
Yes,
gonna
he
double. I'm
did.
not
He
gonna
did
fact
his
check this.
research on Robert Val.
What-
Almost anybody has all seen a Robert Valley thing, and you probably
Don't-
like would
Once
be-
you
once
connect
you know
the
who he
dots,
is,
you'll
you connect the
immediately
dots,
connect
it
all
makes
of them.
sense.
It's like one of your. It's probably it's the person who made that thing
You've probably
that you
seen
love,
something
but
he
you
made
don't
and
know
thought
who
it looked
made.
Really cool.
But
Yeah.
anyway, talking about something we
Valley
didn't
is
exclusively
based.
love. Ice was
Robert Valley is based.
Robert
Ice
Valley is
is
based. He
Ice
is based.
is Ice looks based.
Ice looks based.
on an
Story-
animation art perspective. Presentation-wise, full 10.
Yeah.
Story-wise, maybe a 4. It does not have any substance,
Yeah.
which is weird because Zima Blue
Yeah.
is the easiest.
Zima Blue has a
It might be-
script that
okay,
matches the art
Every
style.
episode of this season, I don't know about the first season, if any of them were original. I don't know that much about the first season.
They seem to all be like.
Well, they were all
adapted
based
from
off short
something.
stories. They were all based off short stories. So maybe Robert Valley, just was handed the one that he was like, oh, maybe I can do the most with this art. Whereas Zima Blue was a short story.
He
it was
probably
much
took the one that
more-
felt like he could do the most with it. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Artistically.
whales and ice world. Like, this
Yeah,
is cool,
it takes
but
place
the
in an
story
ice
itself-
world that seems to be harvesting ice.
It's like an
or
ice
ocean.
mining oil rig.
They mentioned that it's not on Earth because
Yes.
they run into a line of like drug users, and they're all like, "Oh, you wish you were on Earth right now."
Dextro.
I think the part about it that doesn't. So there's this whole.
There's this really underbaked idea of like this conflict between like
I
natural
completely
humans
forgot that.
and
The
genet-
modded
and
humans.
modified.
Yeah.
recording.
Oh, I can see its reflection in the TV. Just keep talking. Don't.
But like But yeah, like the idea of modified humans versus normal humans, but like that idea is very underbaked.
It boils down to they can run faster than him.
In the beginning, they have a scene that is actually done really cool because you see it through the crack in the door from the main character's perspective
of his younger brother and his mom and dad talking.
Animate weird warping perspectives very well, but this was done perfectly.
This guy knows how to do like weird perspectives, tall, lanky characters.
Anything about animation or presentation done amazing. You can tell that I was going to mention this earlier. I know it's kind of a meme, but every time you pause this episode, it could be a background on a desktop.
Yeah.
In fact, when we were watching the trailer, there's that one point where a character will flip off another, and you literally screenshot that, and I was like, I'm saving this as a background.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But then you have the plot where the father is complaining through this crack door.
You can barely even call that a plot because, like, the actual
plot... It's just a vehicle to show animation.
He's complaining about his son being lazy, and the mom's like, well, he's the only unmodded kid around. And the dad's like, well, that's not his fault. Isn't it their fault for not modding him?
Like, it's a weird
why wasn't he modded?
Like, I feel like the boomers would be mad that he is modded.
Yeah, because him being not modded means he hits out less with the wrong crowd.
If it's a delinquency thing, they should be worried that it would make more sense for them to be worried if he was modded.
It is a little bit funny that
if it's
mad at him for not being
if it's like a
badass as he could.
If it's like a family legacy thing or whatever, then they should be pissed at him. Then they should just like force him to get modded. Like it's a terrible thing.
It's a very undercooked concept.
It wasn't clear to me whether he can't be modded or whether he chose not to be modded, or I was very underbaked.
It's dropped after the first minute.
Yes,
it's fucking 10 minutes short.
The rest of it is just about this race
and
then the connection between their
and then it's about them. They all smoke, and then there's this one character with like side hair that like took like 4 huffs, which is kind of funny.
He goes off with his younger brother.
No, the younger brother is the
younger brother is the modded one.
The younger brother is the
hanging out with your older brother friends.
Yeah.
No, the younger brother is the modded one.
Yeah, it's the unmodded one.
No, they said the younger brother.
There's a joke there where like he's talking about how his younger brother is the bigger, stronger one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know, it doesn't feel natural.
It's underexplained because one single line is the only thing clarifying.
But like it's all
one
just
throwaway
it's just a really throwaway plot to justify some really cool
a group going out on the ice
to be running away from leviathans.
Yes, which look like the fish in Fish Night. So this has a little bit of Zima Blue and a little bit of Fish Night.
What's weird about a lot of these episodes is that they have elements and kind of visual references from other fucking season 1 episodes.
Yeah.
But it feels weird that that's what you would reference.
Like one of the next episode we'll talk about, and I hope we don't talk about it for too long, even though it is kind of the most deeply philosophical one, Pop Show.
Yeah.
We could just,
we could keep talking about it. I just don't want to spend like.
No, I'm just like, do I want to talk about ice anymore? Because
I think we've said everything about ice.
It's
very beautiful.
Good. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The world seems interesting.
Watch it if nothing else for the animation.
Like nothing.
You could watch it with just the mute button, and it would be
the unmodded. They have to run away from the whales. The unmodded brother, the modded brother almost died, and
it's very stereotypical. And then they become friends.
Feel good shonen moment.
It is a shonen moment.
Okay. This is a shonen plot.
But you know what isn't a shonen plot? Because it's a detective plot.
It's a noir. It feels like
of.
Last of Us in a weird way. Okay, so Pop Show. Honestly, I don't want to spoil too much.
Is it actually called Pop Show? I thought it was something else.
It's called Pop Show.
Do you still have the list? Because
It's Pop Squad.
It's not Pop Show.
It's
Pop Show because.
To try not to give too much away. It's about a society of immortals who are trying to like cling to their immortality.
Yeah,
and also dealing with like problems of overpopulation.
We had the biggest conflict of this episode. This episode is one of the good episodes. I would consider this top 3.
Good one.
Very good.
This is top 3, and it's kind of doing it bad because this is top 3, but the other 2 that I like better. One of them I like better for like kind of superficial reasons. The other one I like better because it is just infinitely funnier.
Yeah.
Like the best episode of this season is a is a funny one. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not because it's like
That may
so,
be what's missing compared to the first. In the first season, the funny ones were light distractions. In this season,
the funny one's like the best one.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that the other, like the more serious ones are bad. The funny ones just.
This is the
Yeah,
example of the good serious one.
The funny one is just a fun like twist on an idea, whereas the others are just,
We'll get to it. It is like
the world of Pop Squad reminds me a lot of the show Altered Carbon, where it's also a futuristic society, also on Netflix, funnily enough. A futuristic society where there's a bunch of people living to be immortal, and it's basically the upper class gets to live forever while the lower class squabbles in the below. There's even people who live in the clouds, and
they do an
people who live on
amazing
the ground.
transition.
Yeah.
This is another very beautiful one.
It's a very pretty one.
It doesn't
the second most beautiful.
It doesn't have like a super stylized art style,
but it's just very pretty.
Yes.
When we were beginning, we were like, this is video game cutscene video. It is not helped with the video game. It's not helped with the main guy in this episode. Is voiced by Nolan North.
Oh yeah.
So it feels very much like a video game.
North, you know.
It's not quite video. I wouldn't say
it's not a video game cutscene.
It's like video game trailer. It's like this is where you cut. This is the trailer sizzle, you know, where it looks the best.
This feels like a David Cage game. This feels like a David Cage game. If it was very well written,
you're underselling it.
I just love making fun of David Cage.
It did have just a bit of David Cage-esque pretension. Just a bit.
They shoot guns. The main guy's voiced by Nolan North.
He's a cop that goes through a redemption arc.
It feels so
good.
much like a video game, but it feels
very good.
It feels like one of those video game narratives that was adapted to film, but they did it very well.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect length, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have overstayed its welcome with another scene.
This is probably the most philosophically deep one.
Yeah.
Which is what, but
it's the one
it deals with the issues of like trauma, overpopulation.
I don't want to talk
like,
about the
family and
because
stuff.
what happened was that there's a moment, and you'll immediately know it if you watch it, where we were watching it, and we were like, oh no, Troy Baker, video game cutscene, and then something happens, and we're like, oh, we're just actually gonna watch this now.
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Oh shit!
Okay.
This is what shit! We're actually gonna give it our attention.
So this is probably
the first like
this is like number 2. Yeah, this is like
number 2 or 3. I think
the three best ones are gonna be like, we all have similar enough taste, but I think like for an audience watching this show, you could say the 3 we think are the best, and you could say that what?
No, I'm just realizing that you're wearing a very red shirt, you're wearing a very green shirt, and I'm wearing a very blue shirt.
Epic gamer colors.
Epic gamer moment.
I don't know.
Alright. You know what wasn't an epic gamer moment? Snow in the desert.
Snow in the desert was ass, dude.
We were picking at straws so much.
This is probably the most forgettable one in the entire batch.
Doesn't it just turn off after 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's why I'm
approaching the 30
I'm at like
minute
22 minutes. That's
alright. We can probably talk about this.
We're talking about
we can blast through these last few.
I don't think we need to fit these last like 6 into 8 into.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We're
not going to if we keep talking about how we're going.
All right. Snow in the desert was bad. It was.
The man's name is Snow, and his balls allow him to be immortal. Apparently.
That's it.
It is a major plot point that the bounty hunters going after him have to cut off his balls specifically and bring them to someone.
The joke of we need this guy's balls.
At first I'm just like, they're taking his balls. And then they keep talking about his testicles.
And then they mention his balls like 3 times by like 3. Like it's the typical of like, rogue outcast is approached by bounty hunters.
The more we talk about it, the more I dislike this one and realize.
Why was it called Snow in the Desert?
Okay, imagine the
snow and
he's albino in Tatooine.
And when he first enters this Tatooine town, there's a person trapped in a container.
It's trapped in a glass container that will dry him out forever and die in the sun.
And it says water thief on it. So you think the plot's maybe, I was like, the snow that they're hunting for is water. No, it's just some fucking guy with super balls.
It's Mandalorian. If instead of Baby Yoda, it was the Mandalorian's dick and balls.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Because so the guys approached by bounty hunters and like one person goes, "We need your balls. We're not gonna leave without your balls."
Balls? You mean testicles?
Oh yes. And then like later on, there's a love interest that just comes out of nowhere.
Yes, there's a female who joins him.
Yeah, and then she explains to the audience like halfway through this episode, she's like,
she explains why the balls are important.
Yeah, no, the line is literally, and I think this was the realization for us. It was literally like we were joking like, why does it say balls so much? And then she goes, we don't know the characters' names because besides Snow, which we kind of remember for being stupid,
we know because it's the title of the episode and he's.
I don't remember the female character's name. She's not giving it. She's probably name dropped once, and it's something super generic because all these are kind of generic. But she goes literally like, the entire galaxy's after me, and I know why. You exert a certain hormone. And like, oh, they're actually needing his balls.
They actually need his balls.
Which is, and this was a weird whiplash because this comes after, because they make a point
this
that
comes after Pop Squad,
which was also about immortality and like
being but that one took itself seriously. And
shit.
Okay, when we talk about this balls thing, that makes it sound like the short is like funny.
It's not.
It's not comedic.
It's really isn't.
They play this plot line with like 100% sincerity.
It's like a D&D character whose main power, like, he's a warlock, that he fucks. That his power comes from his balls. But then the DM is like, okay, this is a joke character, but I'm gonna put him in a super, super serious story.
Campaign.
This is a serious campaign for adults.
Yeah, no. And then there's like 2 Star Wars action scenes.
He also can regenerate his limbs because he gets his arms.
Can we just move on? I'm tired of talking about Snow in the Desert.
They killed off the female character,
but then she was a robot.
Kill her off because she was a robot. But I was hoping the twist would be that her having sex with the dude somehow made her immortal through his cum. Because that would have been funny at least.
This is
Immortality cum would have been interesting at least.
All right.
How long did we spend talking about that stupid
All right, we're
one?
gonna next bit.
Next one.
Fucking Snow in the Desert's not fun.
Snow in the Desert.
Not based.
More like
second
cum in the sand.
Kind of funny. Mostly boring.
We laugh.
There is a sex scene.
It's
not
funny.
The worst one.
It's funny entirely by accident.
Yeah.
Ooh, second best one, Tallgrass.
Tallgrass
is about a mysterious figure who gets up on a train because his train stops in the middle of a field, and he gets out for a smoke, and that's all we should talk about. This is the scariest one.
It's
we can spoil it. I can just put spoilers timestamps because this is a horror one.
This is a very horror one.
It's a very
shown in the trailer.
It's a very Lovecraftian horror as well.
Which is oddly, this is not the scariest one. Which is
it's not. Which is weird.
Think about it. Well, think about the next one that's like Eldritch.
Oh, I guess the next one is definitely going to have a spoiler tag.
Oh yeah, no, because the next one's entire basis is like
a bait.
It's a bait and switch.
The tall grass. Yeah, it's. I thought it was going to be zombies on a train, but I think the idea of him
trying to get away from the zombies on a train.
But I was thinking the idea of lost in the woods, but he's in this like tall. The grass seems tall, but not super tall, and then he goes down into it, and it almost they perspectivize it, so it seems to get large. So it's like over his head. He's walking around having a smoke. These go somewhere between ghosts and zombies. They glow, and you can see them moving in the grass, glowing.
And you
don't know what they are.
I think they're like slightly translucent.
Yes. Yeah. It's just a very cool.
It feels very like good. It feels like the very good moments of M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, where the aliens are in like the cornrows, and then they're getting chased.
Yeah.
Which happens in that movie. I know you guys probably
haven't seen Signs.
Yeah. Whatever. It's been a while.
But this is it keeps it simple, which means it doesn't have the opportunity to be pretentious or dumb.
Until like the very end.
The very end, the conductor on the train gives a monologue that is just a little too long and over explains this. He explains the zombies in a way that is interesting.
We all knew exactly when he was like a line too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said something about a door to another dimension, and that's where it didn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, it was like the guy is like grabs off, and the guy gets popped.
He gets saved by
the conductor, the main
guy, by the Tom Hanks.
And the conductor explains that like his theory is that like things in the grass.
Because it starts out very good with like a little bit of dialogue. This is one of those episodes that has very few dialogues. So the dialogue we pick on is like the last minute. This is one of the shorter ones too.
Like he's like, the things in the grass are like the people who got left behind, or some variation on that.
Kind of cool, like.
But then he keeps going with that explanation, and it ends on the note of, it's like it's some type of door to another world, and it's like, okay,
and it's like, what door? We didn't see a door. They were coming out of the ground. Yeah,
but he starts it off kind of cool, like, oh, they don't like fire.
Yeah,
they really don't like fire, and then that implies, that he's done this before.
Yeah.
So the panicked guy who was just attacked by fucking zombies.
Should have listened to him when he said, "Don't get off."
He was very passive when he was like, when the guy got off the train. The conductor was like looking around, and he was like, "Hey, you better get back in the train. I'm gonna leave you alone now."
After the tall grass, we said that's the best one. Then we watched the next one, and then we said that one was the best.
We actually have to put a spoiler tag.
This is a big spoiler because this one's entire hint comes out on a
knowing the outcome kind of ruins it.
Even saying that the reason it's so good as a spoiler warning is itself almost a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's what's that title of it?
It is All Through the House.
All Through the House. It's a Santa one.
This one is like 4 minutes long.
It's a Santa one, and we'll say this because you can see it in the trailer for the show. It has horror vibes.
And
that is all we can say. And it looks like horror.
Each of us tried to guess what the twist would be, and none of us
were right. None of us were right, but also kind of we were all right.
No, me and Kirk were right. Okay, so what we thought was going to happen was...
Spoiler alert! Skip to the next one if you want to watch.
Spoiler
because the twist is good.
Yeah. This makes it the best. This is probably the best one. When I first watched it, I was like, I have seen so many
Killer
Santa eats the kids, Krampus, and I was like... And then I think either you or me said it first, and we were like, "What if Santa's just some like weird eldritch abomination that just delivers presents?" And then that was what it was.
Yeah. The kids sneak down to see Santa.
The kids really want to see
the eldritch abomination. Yes.
That's amazing because the kids are like, "Oh, we're gonna see Santa," and then like his shadow
comes out.
The tongue comes out and
drinks
down
the milk. Then the plate rolls back into the room.
And
the eldritch abomination with its tentacles. It has like hands attached.
It has like hands above its face, and then it has like a set of limbs, and it has like really like wide, narrow teeth.
Yeah. And it's like a cross between like something like the Xenomorph and something from Pan's Labyrinth.
It looks like there's this movie on Netflix called The Ritual. This is a very vague, but in the movie The Ritual, it looks like the monster. I can show you guys pictures after this.
Yeah.
But
we have a lot more to say about each short. Like
I feel like these were like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, it's not even that like there's more to say about these. It's just that there's less of them, so we don't have to spend. We don't blast through them.
Yeah, we spent like a minute just talking about the balls shit on this. But yeah, this All Through the Night. The creature's amazing. The creature.
Yeah, it looks
fucking amazing. Great.
But I love the comedy. It goes up, it goes Leon to the little girl.
Oh yeah, no, and then it sniffs you, and then it wiggles its fingers around,
and it like wiggles good, and then it just spits out her present,
and then it like grabs its face, and then like a present like fully wrapped in like spit and stuff just drops.
I just love the genius idea of like. This is why your parents don't tell you to come downstairs when Santa's there.
Well,
not because he's an eldritch abomination.
The best part though is that for a second, when he went to the kid that's named William, but it's called Billy because for some reason Bill is short for Will and some
epic moment.
Whatever. Diatribe. But for some reason there's like a cue. There's a sound cue in this episode. The sound design in this episode is like really good.
Yeah,
and the art style is really good too. It's like stop.
But after it drops the other one, the creature like turns over to Bill, and there's like this like weird suspense thing. It's not like a loud like shun. It's like a weird suspense thing, and you think for a moment, oh, what if Billy's bad? What happens to the bad kids?
If there's any complaint about this one, it's that it's too short and we don't get to see what it does to the bad kids. But that's not even.
It's kind of fun to think about.
Yeah, it's kind of just it's fun to leave
the imagination.
Both the kids turn out to be both the kids in the Monster's Eye. It's not Monster, it's just Santa.
Both are good.
So they both get exactly what they want. But
I just love them
leaves like outside the house. They open it. It's exactly what they want, and then it
just
immediately.
What I wanted. Hard cut to them in bed,
like staring immediately.
And then the sister asks, "What would have happened if we were bad?"
And then it's just episode ends, and it was perfect.
I think they do a zoom out.
Yeah,
and
that was a
that's
zoom out.
it.
We were all hoping that they would cut immediately to like a 30-second scene of what happens to
But
it.
it's almost.
in hindsight, I actually think it's smarter for them to leave it ambiguous.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can fully see that.
Yeah.
This was the best one, just because it was funny, it was horror, it was cool.
It somehow managed to like
You know-
take a premise that was like, oh, well, Killer Santa or creepy Christmas. Like, how can you do this in a new way? And found it fun.
You know what wasn't funny, horrifying, or cool?
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
The worst one, it's not even worse, nothing happens in it.
The Nothing Burger one.
What is it called?
It's called Life Hatch.
Oh, right. Because the thing that he goes to is called a life hatch for some reason.
Okay,
so-
I'm gonna blast through this one
Blast
because
through
it's
it.
bad.
Michael B. Jordan.
Do you guys know Gravity? Do you guys know Alien?
Do you guys know the sketch from Love, Death, and Robots Season 1 that we said was just Gravity?
Do you guys know Michael B. Jordan?
Imagine
That's the short!
Imagine
I
the
think-
Gravity short from season 1.
I think the thing
Mixed with Lucky 13, and then nothing happens.
And to top it all off, the alien dog thing that's chasing Michael B. Jordan has a flashing green eye effect that will
the
probably give
effects
someone
actually
seizure.
hurt.
It made
So-
us have to look away from the screen because
So-
it was painful.
While the short is not as bad as the worst of the first season, you
It's-
should still skip it because, especially if you have
Nothing
any
happens.
epilepsy, you should just skip this short because
We were watching
there is
this
nothing interesting
During
going
the
on.
daytime.
No,
in
the
sh-
sun already went.
No, the sun was out when we were
I
The
watching.
guess-
sun,
yeah,
like the
it's
lights
so
were off,
low.
but the sun was still
The
out.
lights were
Yeah.
off, but the sun was down.
And it was
But
like
when we were watching
blink
it,
screen light.
it was like the scanner of the robot dog thing, and it walks like a dog.
It's an but it's also.
But
a
it, like
xenomorph.
when it drops, it
It's
immediately
also
malfunctions and
unoriginal.
goes into kill mode for some poorly.
And then
designed-
that's the rest of the movie.
yeah. and then
Spliced with bad flashbacks of him
Oh, yeah, no,
fighting some generic space battle.
Oh,
that
and the
we
space
don't
battle
have-
actually hurts too.
There's
This
nothing
one's bad.
to this.
It hurts to
It's
watch.
not-
It literally hurts
It's
to
not
watch.
unbelievably. It doesn't hit the low bar of some of the stuff in the first
The effects
season.
But it's close.
But when there's 8 episodes, for one to be this bad is actually pretty.
Okay,
Yeah.
the effects are bad because there are many times where it's clear that like for a lot of these like ones that aren't like purely done animation from the ground up, where they like mocap someone.
We can't tell if it's just like
We're
There are
bad.
some shots that I'm like they just didn't put they
just looks like
rotoed
Michael B. Jordan's
a
face.
suit over him, like a space suit over him, and just kept his like main face and maybe digitified it a bit
Yeah.
with like a tool. Because there are some shots where he's like struggling on the floor, and you can just see the two like clip through each other.
yeah.
I,
The
they
effects in this one
definitely
are
did.
very poor.
They definitely didn't get Michael B. Jordan to come in and put on a full mocap suit. They
They
mocapped his face for a day.
They realized this move. They realized the short was crap.
Half this episode.
Then they got
is
Michael
in a
B.
mask,
Jordan.
in
Yeah.
like a full like space mask that only really.
We're
shows
pretty
his
sure
eyes.
that the short was boring, so they just hired Michael B. Jordan
To
to
try
try
and-
to draw people, like, to draw audiences.
It's a very boring one. It's not good. It's kind of
Not good.
You know what we thought was going to be boring and bad, but actually turned out to be kind of interesting?
You're kind of on it with the transitions between
The drowned
each
giant.
episode.
Well, the thing is, he's going to need to be continuously good because all we're doing is anthologies.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nothing but transitions.
You know what
Yeah.
else is blank?
Mine!
Mom, you're doing
Okay.
Muscle Man
Okay.
transitions
Final
and it's
one.
working.
The Drowned Giant. And this one was honestly... I forgot it
Gulliver's
existed.
Travels, but based.
I think
Yes.
honestly it's really disingenuous to call this one Gulliver's
Yeah,
Travels because
I
it was
was
actually
thinking.
kind of... It was more Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Because it's a British
I don't
guy
know
narrating-
anything about Hitchhiker's
It's
Guide
a
to the
watch it. It's
Galaxy.
very good.
It's very dry British comedy,
Yeah, we were talking over it the entire time.
which is
We
the worst
talked
way to
over this one
experience
too
dry
much.
Yeah, this
British
one's
comedy.
very-
Because this one has like dry British narration with sort of understated comedy underneath
It
it.
feels
and
like
we
someone,
weren't paying
like-
attention to that
It's
part.
someone monologuing over the discovery of a...
It's this
Giant
scientist.
human.
It's this scientist's inner monologue as he's paid to like observe and study the giant dead human that washed up on the beach.
We know nothing about it. We don't know if there are more humans that are this size.
and
This
we
guy's-
never know.
Yeah.
That's the intrigue of it.
That's the intrigue of it. And like...
I'm glad they never do anything hokey like having it wake up or eat somebody
Or
piss on a castle
Or it turns into Jack
or
Black
sing
and pisses
war.
on a
What is it
castle.
good for after an hour and a half? of
See, I
ads?
didn't come into this episode from the perspective of watching Gulliver's
Luke
Travels.
isn't a degenerate.
So I'm just like
watch
watching it, and these two are
Travels.
like Please don't get up and piss.
We do see his dick.
Gulliver's Travels.
We see his dick, but honestly, it's kind of conservative for what.
Considering
well, they do
conservative until the last.
They do the bit at the. They do a bit at the end where eventually the body is kind of chopped up and disposed of. And you find like bones of it in the nearby fishing town used to help.
Oh yeah, no, the sort of like the I don't know.
Its dick is being kept in a circus.
The butcher shop has a giant femur on it.
Yeah, there's like a skull just behind someone's house.
Its dick is being kept in a circus, though. Is the main.
To be fair, if anyone was gonna keep the dick, it would be a circus.
Yeah,
and the narration over that bit's good.
Yeah, they do the joke that's like. They mistook it for a whale.
I'm sure there's some narration good jokes that we were not listening to.
This is absolutely the only short that like you shouldn't watch with like a rowdy watch with your friends.
Yeah,
watch this on your own with like a glass of wine or something.
This one I feel like is much better than
this one's classier than most stuff.
It's very classy,
despite the like penis joke we
got. It feels
even the penis joke was like classy by penis jokes.
Yeah, it's just what happened was that they're monologuing about like what happened to some of the body parts, and then we cut to a circus, and in my head I didn't say this out loud. I'm like, oh, they're gonna do a joke about the dick, and then they open up the curtains, and it's just the dick, and then they hold on that shot for like 10
and they slowly zoom in on it.
But the dick in the it's not as grotesque looking as you might. I feel like the bigger you make
it's uncircumcised.
The less
it's not circumcised, so it's just kind of like shriveled up.
Yeah.
There is
dick and balls. Why did this season of Love and Robot prompt dick and balls discussion in this so much? Was this the last one?
This is the last one.
Okay.
Dick and balls.
One thing I also want to mention about this one is that at first we thought it was going to be like Ice Age from the first season where there's live action people spliced in with what we thought the CG
But it wasn't.
But it's all CG.
Yeah. It's actually kind of the reverse. It's like a live action looking person who's the dead body.
When the dead body
and then
shows
a bunch
up.
of CG
like it's actually
when the dead body shows up, they show that they show up like the scientist pulls up and a bunch of like locals show up. And the locals look like NPCs.
Yeah.
The locals
they
all are
like
in the same different same 3 outfits.
This is the
same weird like one layer of texture across their face.
In general, the human models in this short are the most video game NPC-esque, except the giant human who washes up on the beach, which is very realistically animated. It helps that it never moves.
Yeah.
So.
They probably just like spent all of their time modeling that.
Yeah. That was a good one. That one, the first and last one are both in the same like middle ground of.
I'd say this is a bit better than the first one.
It is a bit better than the first one.
Like this one I would actually watch as like a laugh. The first one, like if you put it on, I wouldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
This one was a good one.
So
I liked what they did with it.
So I think tier rankings it goes throughout the house.
Honestly, I think between the two of us, we could all have our top 3 different and be in different order. But I think universally,
the best 3 are All Through the House,
Tall Grass,
and Pop Squad.
And then from there,
mediocre, and then 8, and then that's like A tier.
Yeah.
Then B tier we got Ice
and
the giant one.
Then C tier is
thinking about making a tier
C
chart.
tier.
Honestly,
I think C tier would just be the automated customer service.
Yeah.
And then D tier would be Snow in the Desert and Life Hatch.
Yeah,
I'm putting them in tier list maker. Boom.
I don't think anything is F tier, but there's some pretty.
You see a lot of the traits that are in the F tier ones from season 1 in the D tier ones.
Yeah.
They're almost F tier, but not quite.
Yeah.
All right. Now it's time for the seamless edit.
Yes. The next time you'll see us is
And we're back.
A dinosaur story.
Weeks later and in a different location.
Maybe a full month.
Hey, they didn't have to know that until you told them.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure they would.
I'm
sure they totally wouldn't notice the change in location, outfits, and time.
I'm gonna sit in this chair so we're not crowding the couch, and I'm gonna use this thing as a funny little cane.
All right, so if you're watching this as it's intended, we just finished the Love, Death, and Robots section.
Season 2
analysis, which was
I've already forgotten most of it.
Yeah,
I've forgotten most of it too.
You know what? I feel like that's kind of fair because like there were a couple of good shorts, but I don't think there was anything super standout in the second season.
I remember rewatching Zima Blue after I watched The Wall because we needed a palette cleanser.
No,
The Wall.
We're not putting over The Wall. Okay, so Robot Carnival.
Well, yeah, let's talk about Robot Carnival, which is like what I wish Love, Death, and Robots was.
Yeah.
Robot Carnival is more consistent in its theming of robots than like any freaking Love, Death, and Robots.
It's like the
Love Carnival, Robot Carnival, Death Carnival.
I feel like it's the only true spiritual sequel to Fantasia.
That's true.
Because every other attempt to do a spiritual sequel to Fantasia has either fucked up the theming or just been bad.
For reference, Love, Death, and Robots is basically 80s anime Fantasia.
Yeah, it was released in 1987.
No, Robot Carnival was.
1987.
Robot Carnival. What did I say? Did I say Love, Death, and Robots? That's going to happen a lot.
It is a
deep
cut. It is hard to find, and it is very.
It's an OVA. It's an OVA from 1987 by APP. That was released in North America in '91 under Streamline Pictures. So this is one of those OVAs that like had tons of money poured into it, made no money back when it was released in Japan, and made even less money back when it was released in America like 5 years later.
It's available on Prime Video for free-ish. When we watched it together, it was free.
It was a free
And then
watch.
when I rewatched it last night because I wanted to refresh my memory because we watched this.
It's because of the Fear podcast. They're like, oh wow, the Fear podcast is watching Robot Carnival. We can make a profit off of this.
When I watched it last night, it was free with ads.
It's also fully free on YouTube.
Yes, there's a YouTube upload.
If you have YouTube Premium, no ads, and if you have
I'd also argue the YouTube version might be better because the YouTube version is the original.
Yeah, there's the
Japanese sub.
Original Japanese sub, original Japanese music,
and we're not just talking some bootleg. There's and this is relatively recent. Like we didn't know this existed when we watched it.
Yeah, the music was composed by Joe Hisayashi.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second.
The distribution and how this film was made and how it exists in the modern anime sphere is so interesting to talk about too.
Some YouTube channel.
It's pre-Akira.
Yeah.
This was made before Akira, or maybe around the same time as
This is
Akira.
being made concurrently with Akira, but came out before it, and I think even had some people who worked on Akira on it.
Yes.
Dude, this has got full of talent.
This is full talent.
Yeah, so there's the Prime Video option is the dub. There's a high quality YouTube upload of the whole original sub movie, which we didn't know about. But it's just up there.
Because for some reason in the English version they cut out some music.
Oh, there's certain music changes?
They cut a lot of
There's also the order of some of the shorts are changed, which is why
it's super
the
weird.
Wikipedia article
The Wikipedia goes from
Franken
Gears to Deprive to
Presence. I'm not even sure this order on Wikipedia is the same as
it's very bizarre. How about this?
We'll go.
I have
in the order we watch.
I listed them on my phone in the order of what order they were in when we watched.
This movie, first off, I think should be an opening thesis for this movie. This movie should be watched.
Yes,
this movie should be
especially if you're an anime fan.
Oh, if you're an anime fan,
watch this movie.
You could. If you're an anime hipster and you pull out I watched Robot Carnival card, everyone's not going to know what the fuck you're talking about.
That means you get
but
to
it's
have
also
extra
really
hipster point.
you can mansplain it, but the thing is that it's very good. So if you mansplain it properly, you can still watch
it's so dope.
It is
I think it's the best thing we watched. The soundtrack, the music is
it's easily the most artistic thing.
It's got a lot of talent behind it. We mentioned this, he mentioned this earlier, but the music was. I can't tell if it was all composed by him, but
it was a trio. It was a trio, but you can tell that
it was at least in some part composed by Joe Hisashi,
Izaku Fujita, and Masahisa Takeichi.
Joe Hisashi.
Joe Hisashi was the composer of Nausicaa, which we watched for the podcast, he's the Ghibli composer.
And I can't find anything on the other two people.
Oh, the other two just don't have
probably
Wikipedia
just more obscure.
They're not even obscure. They just don't have Wikipedia.
My mind theory is that Hisashi was the overarching
probably the head guy
because Ghibli was already pumping out shit at this time.
Because
Ghibli was already pumping out bangers.
There's
for like
something.
2 years now.
There's something about Hisashi's music that is just like ethereal. Like it sends me to a certain state.
You can
like
I'm
like
get high off
transcendent.
it.
Yes,
I
it's
get high.
high. Yeah, it's get high.
Definitely. When I was reading,
It's
the
just
Wiki
so.
article,
If you could ever say that anyone's music is dreamlike, it's Hisashi in the way his music sounds.
He composed I think it's the Franken'S short. That's like went on the Wikipedia that has.
Oh my god! Like I'm looking at the director list. It's a veritable who's of talent.
Oh,
really?
The guy who made Kite, the guy who made Akira, and people who worked on Akira.
Which short did the guy who made Akira?
Kazutuda Otomo. Let's see. I think he did the Night on Bald Mountain looking one.
Which one was that?
There's like several that are.
Yeah, there.
Is that Nightmare Japan?
Yeah, Nightmare.
Nightmare. This movie's actually really good at like consistent art design. A lot of the robots between shorts look like they.
What's so weird is that
every short involves robots in some way, which is something I can't say about Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, some of Love, Death, and Robots is just like horny.
The plot for this one is we have the horning.
There is no nudity in this film, which is kind
tasteful.
of it's tasteful.
It's
not
tasteful.
It's very tasteful.
I can't.
I can fully see it. For instance,
I can't find which short he did. I think he just did like story.
I really want to go through it piece by piece.
I want to go through.
Let's start with the first piece.
It starts with the first
real
piece.
piece.
Oh
the opening.
The opening is dope.
Normally the opening is so cool.
Normally the opening these are just a throwaway transition to the actual first short.
The frame.
But this one is actually really good.
Okay, so possibly the best inserted title card of any movie ever.
Yeah.
So
this opening has the most big dick energy. It comes out, flops it out, and then just wipes.
We start in this like
it opens on like a
desert town. That feels like it could be a location in the Nausicaa world, to be honestly.
Yeah.
And then the town, and then you just hear this.
It's destroyed by this. Just like it literally gets destroyed by the title card.
There's a little boy, and he finds a flyer, and the flyer says Robot Carnival is coming.
And he runs home, and he's freaking out.
Freaks out.
Most of this anime movie does not have only. I think 2 of the shorts actually have
2 shorts have dialogue. Only 2 shorts have dialogue.
This
even in the original Japanese, I believe, only have like 2 dialogue.
Like the kid shows up and he's like, something's coming, nobody believes him, and then you hear, I love how you can hear it coming before it shows up. I can't say
it is a perfect metaphor for American imperialism wiping through Japan.
Yes.
Because it shows because long story short, the title, literally the title card.
It's literally a giant like robot tank that has the words Robot Carnival like forming its structure.
I love
like
how
big
what should be like normally like one of the most throwaway parts of the movie is like this would be like the kind of the throwaway opening, and it looks better than most anime produced.
If you look at the poster for the movie,
with
the Robot Carnival text, it literally looks like that.
It just literally,
but just with like a robot, and it just rolls through the town, and it's like playing this music.
It plays this like bop and carnival music.
They start dropping these spinning dancer robots that are like bombs. They're bombs, and they're dropping these bombs as the tank is rolling over this town.
It literally like just rumbles through it.
It's also such a great example of this movie's fun tonal contrast sometimes.
It's very funny,
where some of the
dark.
shorts will be extremely funny but dark. The ending at the end they cut back to this storyline and it ends with a super dark joke, which we can talk about later.
The opening is very Chad. It's just a giant flex, and it's such a great just opener because it just comes in.
Roll credits, ding.
Roll credits. And speaking of rolling credits, before we get into the actual shorts, I feel like we have to talk about the bad. Like there are good title transitions that were clearly in the original Japanese.
You can tell that Americans touched.
And then there's the American versions.
They added awkward like Comic Sans-y font light transition cards between shorts. But the thing is, they didn't even use it consistently.
No. It's not.
They use it after the opening. to go into the first short, Franken's Gears. Then they use it to transition into Starlight Angel, even though Starlight Angel already has a title card that plays right after.
Here's what's weird, is that some shorts, when they're introducing it, they have a title that
some shorts don't give a title and just say a film by director.
Yeah, no.
But only 2 of them do
all the weird fonts, I think this is at least consistent that whoever did that, like with the weird fonts, it's always saying who made the short.
Or what the title is.
Or what the title is, but it's not consistent about what the title is, because sometimes it doesn't show the title because the original, probably, what I'm assuming the original.
They don't use it for all of them. Sometimes
they use it for both. Sometimes they use it for none of them. Sometimes they use it for one.
Some of the shorts have the original title in them, and they use this title transition anyway, such as Starlight Angel. And some of them have the title in them, and they don't use the transition because of that.
Yeah,
it's
Cloud
like they
doesn't.
It's
Cloud
like
does not do.
Cloud has Cloud and a transition before it, but after that they stop using it consistently, and then they bring it back for the last short, Nightmare, but it's in a red color. It's weird. And
it's so clear that whoever I want to like.
And since the order of them were changed,
they had like 5 minutes, and they're just like, "Oh, I gotta throw this quick together."
It's real goofy.
It's really goofy, and it has an early localization charm to it.
Yeah,
I like. But let's move on.
Let's actually move on to the shorts now.
The first one that is on the Prime version of the
the order on Prime is
the order on YouTube is Starlight Angel is actually the first one on the YouTube part, which is probably because it has cute anime girls in it, and that's easy to market.
But we'll talk about it in the order that we
so
watched.
On the Amazon version, the first
Franken Gears by Kuji Morimoto.
This is one of the ones where their transition says a film by Keiji Morimoto. It doesn't say the title.
What else did this man do? Because there's one guy who produced a short that I think...
He's just like a general animator, like Robot Carnival, Short Piece, Animatrix, Key Animation on
Franken's Gears, this
City on Air, Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah, no, he was a key animator on Fist of the North Star.
Franken's Gears isn't the most memorable.
Seems like the type of guy who you normally like you hire to get a job done, not specifically because it's like, ooh. Well, I say that, but like
Franken's Gears
is basically a mad scientist character.
Mad scientist tries to give his life to his robot with lightning, just like Frankenstein.
Yeah, and the robot it's Frankenstein's
successful,
monster,
but then he dies, getting squished by the robot.
Yes, the robot awakes and then falls on him, and that's how it ends.
Yeah.
But
it's a very beautiful.
But I like that it is. It's gorgeous. The expressions on his face, you can really tell, when it doesn't work at first, the grief, and then the sheer joy when his robot son.
And then when it's starting to fall apart, both the grief and then the sheer horror when it starts to fall on him.
There's a lot of really good stuff.
Was this the one where the colors kind of gave us a stroke?
No, that's the Nightmare one.
That's the Nightmare.
I Nightmare watching it last night. I was like, there's some strobe and white lights in this one that are a little.
Yeah, this is epilepsy warning for some of these.
This is pre when
this is before that one Pokemon. This is before that one Pokemon episode that gave everyone seizures.
Damn those liberals not allowing us to give the children strokes.
Dude, Polygon actually killed kids.
So, I assume you meant Porygon, not Polygon.
Porygon, my mistake.
But anyway, there's one part of this one I like where when the robot wakes up after he thinks that he failed to wake it up, it's like this white circle, and where it's colored in black and white instead, and then the circle
zooms out,
and for a little bit of the short, it's just black and white draws.
Yeah, we couldn't really figure out how they would have done that at the time.
Oh yeah, no.
Because nowadays that would just be like a visual effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear that in the animation, when they were color changing it, the actual people who were colorizing it, they didn't put some filter over it, or they just replaced it with black and white.
They actually
colored it over.
It's dope.
It's
really
very
good.
well done. It's a flex.
This one is one of the less memorable ones, but the praise we're giving it is still so. I would still put
this above any heavy metal
nothing wrong
or
with it, but there's nothing wrong.
These shorts are at worst. The shorts in this are at worst forgettable or go on a little too long.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like I do
There's
like
one of
I do
them
like the
probably-
final visual of like him being crushed by
Yeah, and then the globe thing
His
that he has
globe
gets
backpack
tossed and
is
it
so cool.
like falls apart and
Yeah.
slices in half, and it's this really striking closing visual.
Yeah.
It is a lot of beautiful visuals and great like visual storytelling.
I didn't get a water. Do you guys want to start talking about the next one, Starlight
Yeah,
Angel?
Starlight
While I get
Angel,
myself a
sure.
water. Where's the water?
Immediately to the
down
right.
to the
Oh, right, yes.
in the
Don't let the dog in because I know
Yeah.
you hate it.
Don't let that dog in.
It's just distracting.
Monokuma. Starlight Angel.
Starlight Angel is the second one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, by Hiroyuki Kitsume.
That sounds familiar. I don't know. Character designer too.
Character designer, blah blah blah. Manga animator, manga artist, illustrator.
This one is a cute. This one is a cute anime girl
Very
one
good.
with vibing 80s music.
Lots of like
He did
lots
a
of
lot of Gundam, which
yeah,
makes
Gundam.
sense.
Yeah, there's some mech stuff that comes in.
Okay.
He's clearly a big fan of the mecha genre.
This is maybe my second or third favorite of all of them.
It's really pretty.
It has some of the best music, I think.
Oh, yeah,
just
no,
like
because
even
it was
in
just-
80s like
Yeah,
vibe tracks.
I don't know. Can you pull up who did the music for this
I don't
one?
know. I
sound
don't know how
effects,
easy that's gonna be to
Kenji.
get because I was looking in the
Half
credits
these people,
last night.
half
for
of
the
these people
music.
do not have Wikipedia articles about
Yeah,
it.
and
it
the
is, like-
credits of the movie don't even.
Oh,
list
there are
the
some cameos
promotions.
from Akira movie characters.
Oh
In
shit,
that?
that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
The mood
so
of the segment was heavily
Oh, we were
influenced by Take
joking,
on Me.
dude. We were joking.
Wait,
that, like
wait,
all the
no, no,
background characters had great
no,
character
that
design.
actually makes sense. The mood of the segment was heavily influenced by Take on Me.
Which
Yeah.
makes sense because
Yeah.
And
it's
it's
like
set in Disneyland,
this is-
Tokyo.
this is-
And it's
Yeah,
set in
it's,
Disneyland.
Yeah, this is
they don't
basically
call
anime
it
Take on Me.
Disneyland, but the final shot is like the Disneyland castle.
it's a shoujo story featuring two friends, teenage girls at a robot-themed amusement park. One of the girls finds that her boyfriend is now going out with her friend. Running away
that
in
was the
tears,
Dio looking
she
guy.
finds
That
a
was very
virtual
Dio
reality
looking.
ride. A robot like comes to life and tries
Yeah,
to like,
they're-
cure her broken heart.
Yeah, the robot's in love with her, and
and
I
it ends
think-
in
I
like
think-
a big robot
I think
battle.
it's funny that both this one and I believe it's the one later called Deprive, they both feature robots.
Following
They both feature a robot that falls in love with a girl,
Fights a Dio-looking guy.
fights a Dio-looking guy, turns into a human by the end of it, and then the girl is able to recognize that the human and the robot are the same person because of a like necklace charm
Yeah,
that
yes.
she gave them.
Both
Both of
the
the
amount
two
the amount
shorts
of
have this plot line.
the commentary that robots are like real and lively, because that's a metaphor in both of those
Yeah.
shorts.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that one later when we get to it, because
That one we
that
won't
was more
spend
of
as
just
much
that's
time on, 'cause
much
that was
more a
just
music
fun.
video. That's just
Yeah.
a fun
Yeah.
action-y music video,
Yeah,
even
you
as
can-
like 80s music action.
If you can't tell, this is kind of where we start to see a trend of not only does each short have like its own artistic style and music style,
Yes.
but each short also kind of represents a different sort of anime subgenre. Where this is like the shoujo.
This is the Sojo slice of life
with
turns into Gundam.
It does turn
and then
into
you
Gundam
have,
at one
and then
point,
you have
'cause
the
the
one
robot has
later
to
on
fight.
that we were talking about, which is like generic 80s
Shonen.
action
80s
shonen,
action.
but like in the best way, where it's like, oh, it's like Fist of the North Stars, but with robots.
Yeah.
Then
So-
you get like
Joe,
then you
Joe
get like the
Parker.
art house.
Whatever. We'll talk about it.
Then
So
you get
with
like the art house stuff.
I
the
want
Akira
to be a
stuff.
little bit more hyper
Yeah.
specific with each short.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah.
Starlight Angel.
Starlight Angel, which I keep wanting to call Stardust Angel.
Stardust.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I do like though that when the Gundam stuff does show up, like that huge robot that
That
they're
one's
flying
fucking
against is
fun.
fucking like.
It's fucking dope.
You
Dope.
never see stuff like that nowadays because
You
they
can
would
tell that the
have done that in 3D.
Yeah.
You can tell the character designers for this definitely worked on some other Gundam releases,
Yeah.
which he did. I don't know
Yeah.
how good Gundam is because Gundam is such a fucking giant.
Yeah, I hear
Giant
good things about some versions of Gundam, but it's just like
Besides
such a
the point.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
That's
Besides
like,
the point. Besides the point.
oh yeah.
Besides the point.
So I feel
Another-
like we've talked mostly Starlight Angel. I just love it's drenched in
It's
80s
got such
vibes.
a great mood.
It
Yeah.
feels like just a night out on the town in 80s era Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
It has the same vibe as those YouTube videos that are like lo-fi hip hop to relax
Yeah.
to, and then the image on screen is like
Yeah.
a gif of an 80s anime
the
girl
character.
dancing.
I think you mentioned this a second ago that literally Akira character is in the background of this, because I definitely remember when we were watching
Everyone
this,
feels like they could be their own main character.
there's the character design even for background characters is very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which might just be
It's possible
Like
that this
what
might be the short where the Akira guy had the most influence if they have Akira on Akira cameos.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I haven't seen Akira, so I couldn't.
I feel like
I have seen Akira. I do not recognize anyone.
I feel like we've given a good summary of Star Wars.
This is probably the one most where it's like us explaining it doesn't really do it justice. You just need to watch it and enjoy the vibe.
Which is weird because there are some that just have no dialogue.
Yeah, but like those are like.
Oh well, the next one, Clouds. Is
Yeah,
gonna be
the next one
alright.
is Clouds.
Cloud. I pop off over this one. This is probably like this is the most simplistic.
Director,
animated?
character designer. Okay, the guy who basically did everything from this is Manabu Ohashi,
who does not have a character, who does not have a Wikipedia article.
No, he does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
He is a fake person.
This is maybe the most beautiful thing. This is maybe the most beautiful thing I've ever seen put on screen. It's barely even film. It's almost more like a graphic novel brought to life with animation.
It's very student art house.
Yeah.
This isn't trying to tell. Like, it's telling a story, but it's not trying to tell, like, a traditional 3-act structure story. It's about telling a story through the emotions.
Is there a one-sentence plot synopsis on this Wikipedia article?
It's 3 sentences, but it's basically one sentence.
Okay. It's a robot boy who becomes a real boy by the end.
Yeah.
And
it's like a robot boy, very sketchy animation, walking through
this one plays with aspect ratio so much. Like
we could not tell when we were watching this, like, because
they widescreened the rest of them, but with this one
they fuck with it so often.
Well, okay, I noticed the Amazon Prime version, they widescreened most of the shorts. They didn't mess with the aspect ratio.
Yeah,
because it was so weird that you couldn't do anything.
Yeah, if you fuck up with the aspect ratio that they're already messing with, that would ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. So every scene is almost like in like this picture frame, which really adds to this like book vibe. Yeah, it's almost like looking at a.
They say
like
here the animation was done in like a sketchboard style.
Yeah,
which makes sense because it very much feels like the type of thing you would see in an art student's sketchbook.
The opening shot is like a white box, and then within that box you see that's like a tiny part of the screen, and you see the main character moving, and then it stretches out long to show his whole form, and then it stretches out wide to show him walking through this set of 5 minutes of gorgeous hand-drawn background.
It expands and shrinks with the mood of
the color of the background behind the like art boxes.
The backdrop and this is kind of okay. I get it, but it's kind of pretentious. The backdrop is animated with clouds that depict various events of the universe, such as the modernization of man, as well as the self-destruction of man. That sounds pretentious, but it's actually very well done.
Yeah, what I like about it is you can just look at the pretty clouds and enjoy it from that aspect, or you can try to interpret what's going on in the background.
You can enjoy this short on the smoothest brain wavelength and the most galaxy brain.
Yeah, like you can try to each visual is practically like
there's a third layer to this short too, the music.
The music is great. Oh. This might be where the music is at its best.
Because the music is carrying this, but it's like a layer.
I just remember that when we watched it together, for most of the shorts, since they're silent and there's no dialogue, we were talking through them.
They knew the music was a big selling point on this because this is the only short where the music gets its own credit.
Because the music is its own. This is the most Fantasia of any of these shorts, and that is just almost pure visual.
Yeah, there's barely. They're not trying to tell a story. They're trying to tell a concept. They're trying to tell.
And I like that there's this very simple story anchoring you. With these just beautiful. That also outside of the frame where the visuals are happening, there's almost like a background, like it's a painting hanging on a wall, and that background will also change color and look with mood.
When I say it doesn't try to tell a story, I don't mean. It's a bunch of non-linear garbage like Heavy Metal 2000. We'll get to that. What I mean is they're not trying to tell a traditional here is the plot point. Here is the plot point. Very forced.
It's not even just that.
Narrative.
I feel like they're barely even trying to make what you would traditionally call film. This almost transcends like media limitations with the way that they use.
No. It's a great way to describe it.
It is a good way to describe it.
It's a very great short The medium is on full display here. This is something that I don't know could be. I don't know.
It's not that I don't think it could be done today. It's that I don't think they would do it today.
I don't think
they
so.
would. They would be like, this is not commercial.
This is a 10-minute video of very slow animation with like just music according to that.
This would be the exact type of thing a producer would come down and say, this is crap. This is 10 minutes of
this needs to be cut in half.
Nothing is going on. Cut it in half or cut it entirely because you're not selling enough sex, violence, whatever.
It's so. When we were watching the movie together, we would just talk through most of the shorts while watching because they were silent.
We didn't talk over
with this one, I was very quickly like, everybody shut up! Even though there's no dialogue, everybody shut up!
We were going on like a full journey while watching this.
That happened last night too. This particular short in it like just makes me.
Oh, ballin'.
I'm ballin'. I'm gone.
And this is definitely one
this is the like if you're gonna watch any short,
I think this is
definitely
my favorite
watch this one.
Yeah.
And I believe that takes us to Deprive, right? The alien invasion short.
Yes, okay, Deprive. Yes. I captioned it in my notes as
the least
action anime one.
Yeah,
this is the one we were mentioning it earlier and comparing it to Starlight Angel. This is the one that has basically the same plot but with an alien robot invasion thrown into the mix.
The robot invasion comes in, steals. What I think is implied is that the main MC of this short is a robot,
but then imagine himself as human.
He sees himself as human, and his partner sees himself as human.
Maybe reading the description will help. In Deprived, an alien invasion of robot foot soldiers attacks the city and kidnaps people, including a young girl. Her companion, an android, is damaged, but retains her locket. A human with supernatural abilities is then shown who goes through waves of robots before being stopped by two powerful robots, captured by the alien leader. He's tortured, but then revealed to be the alien from earlier, now upgraded into a combat android with a human disguise.
That was way too much explaining.
Too many. Yeah, no.
Whoever wrote that was like way too explaining.
This one is
the writer was like, but no, you have to understand the lore.
This one is definitely the most turn your brain off and enjoy.
It is just action anime. It's like a full like season of like not Fist of North Star, but just some shonen anime.
This is
like in like a I think it's like 6-7 minutes.
This is like the best. This would be like, this is the best shonen animation you're gonna watch all year because it's just a super cut of all the good bits with good animation.
He gets a sword. He fights several cool looking enemies.
The alien
leader looks like Dio.
Looks like Frieza and Dio.
I think that's just how they drew bad guys back then.
It's just the Dragon Ball JoJo bad guy design with green hair and like
the one like weird eye beam that always like someone needs. Yeah. How does he fucking die again?
I don't remember.
He gets like one.
Okay, this is the one that on rewatch I was like, I'm not paying that much attention.
I think it's like he tries to destroy the robot, but then the robot like sheds his human disguise and punches him.
I don't know. The thing is, I don't even know if it's really disguise. It's kind of just a visual metaphor.
He destroys the visual metaphor.
I don't know. It's fun.
This one and Starlight Angel are similar levels of turn your brain off, but Starlight Angel has this supreme 80s vibe.
Hidetoshi Amori. Another person who does not have a Wikipedia article.
That's the thing with a lot of Japanese animation in general. They don't like.
This might be some of the best work they did.
Well, a lot of otaku and weeaboos are like, ooh, this animation guy, he's so good. In the actual industry, they're very much treated as like an expendable commodity.
Yeah, they're very not credited very often if they're not a director or a voice actor.
And I think that we've said about everything we
have to say about Deprive. And
I believe the next one.
Deprive is the worst one.
Deprive is just it's the least good one.
It has the least going on. It has the least going on.
Of all of the shorts, it is the least. And that takes us to the next short, Presence, which I think you said was your favorite.
This one's my favorite.
Presence is a little too long for me.
This is the longest one by far. It is like 19 minutes as compared to the other ones that are like 8 to 10.
It's about a man. It's about an English man in this sort of like steampunk.
It's very well. It's
a lot like
a cyberpunk.
It's so weird because.
This is the first one to have voiceover as well.
This is the first one to have dialogue. This is the first one to have dialogue. It
We get
it
to
follows
see
an
Robot
English
Baron.
man.
Yes, it starts with a man that looks like the Baron, whose head gets thrown
He's
around.
he's a full cyborg too. So I don't
This
know
is
if,
a
like,
world where people have like cybernetically.
This
They
guy's
don't give
also-
you that much details about the world.
There's two things that I kind of want to bring up before we move into the main plot of this.
Yeah.
One, this guy's kind of based, where he's
The
like
main character.
no, because remember the whole thing where he's like getting chastised, where like he
He gets
does
chastised for not going to his workstation.
No, it's not the workstation. He it's always from his perspective. He narrates everything. It follows his life and his aspirations and his shit. He's apparently a toy maker. I think that's his like main thing, or an inventor. For sure.
I'm looking up his IMDb. Yasumi Umetsu.
Is this the man who animated?
Yeah,
this
he
one?
did a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
this is.
But the thing that immediately caught my eye, he did an episode. He did part of the Dante's Inferno animated movie.
He also did Gunslinger Girl, and he worked on.
He did a lot of good. He worked on a lot of good stuff. I think the thing he's most well known for, that's like specifically his baby, would probably be the anime Kite.
Okay.
Which is a really like famous like video nasty.
This short is one of
anime.
two in the movie that starts with a film by director.
Yes, this guy.
This one and FRANKEN'S are the two that say that at the beginning.
Besides the point.
And this one has its title card built into the movie instead of in an awkward font before.
Yeah. But besides the point, he's a toy maker. I think that we get from, and he
didn't ruin it.
And he kind of like narrates like his life and what's going on, while like the backdrop is like this guy getting kicked around, so it's developing the world and shit. And he has this like line that I was like, okay, that's kind of like oddly progressive at the time, where he's like, I get chastised for letting my wife pay for everything, and like
doesn't he? He literally says at one point like, my friends think I'm too feminist or something.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
It's much. This is the English dub that I remember it from, because I didn't really watch this one with the Japanese sub. But the way the English,
the dub's pretty good.
The dub for this one's actually pretty good. It's appropriate because the characters are British, so they get British accents instead of Asian accents.
I feel like they actually got an English actor to play that main character.
Whatever.
Michael McConaughey. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Definitely. Michael McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Lisa Mickelson.
Besides the point.
Barbara Goodson and Laura Cody.
So we haven't even said what this one is about.
I would really like to explain this one.
Yeah,
this is my baby.
Yeah.
I love this one.
Your baby.
He's a toy maker, I believe, or just general inventor. And he gets in this like weird like little like 3-wheeled cubby thing with like this giant dome that he's like
it's
around.
like his little car thing.
It's very like well designed.
I like what little they gave us of the world.
There is one moment that I hope you remember, and it's that he's driving to his shop, which is far removed from town. It's on a lake. It looks very beautiful, very pristine. And as he's panning out, you see in the background these giant towers of these like weird aliens. I'm assuming it's alien, but it's like that's kind of like where implied where technology like and life came from, because it's fully shown that there is like that the robots and shit that are made in this world are fully sentient, even like to the minorest like tiny little toys that this guy touches. And
there's some interesting commentary in the robot toy consumerism thing, because there's one scene where he looks at like a trash can full of robot parts.
Oh yeah, no, and they're all like human robot parts too. So it might just be that like human like the.
I feel like they give you just enough of the world to make you interested in more.
It's a very interesting, it's a very interesting thing. It's very comparable, honestly, to that one a good hunting from the first season of Death Robots with like the steampunk Hong Kong.
The setting is very comparable.
Yeah, very comparable.
But the same level of tech versus old time.
This one probably has the most story to chew on, which is why we're taking the most time to explain it. He goes to his shop, and there he has a pet project, a personal project. He doesn't tell anyone about it, and he's very like secretive about it. And what it is that it's like a circus girl, circus android girl that he's working on.
Circus? I was getting more like doll.
It's very dolly. It's very like I don't know. I just think
the main character.
I'm just equivalent circus.
You said the main character is kind of based, and he is, but he's also kind of.
He's also
cringe.
It's very like
he's got some problems.
It's very reminiscent of the story of Pygmalion and Galatea.
Sure. I don't know what that is.
Okay. Story. It's a classic Greek tale about guy who makes statue of woman, falls in love with the statue. Statue comes to life.
Yeah.
And Romar
we skip some steps there because the robot comes to life, and she asks him for his name.
He gives it life, but what he doesn't give it is sentience, and then she develops sentience, and he freaks out.
Yeah, she asks him for a name, and he's like, "I'm not going to give you a name."
I didn't program you to say that. You did.
And then I think she either tries to make contact with him, or I think she tries to hug him.
Yeah.
And he has like a nervous breakdown, and like beats her to death, and it's like very graphic.
He slaps her, like.
He slaps her
once, but it's hard enough that like the robot's practically falling apart.
No, not really.
He slaps her and then he grabs a wrench.
Oh right.
He grabs a wrench,
and it's never shown, but it's a plot. But it's very strongly implied that he
like beats the
bashed her robot's skull.
Yeah, because he comes back to her later.
Yeah, I forget because you're right because he slaps her and that knocks her out.
Yeah,
like it knocks her out, and then. I don't think I ever caught the wrench thing. I kind of thought he just left after that. But
no, he gets a wrench and then it's off screen, but it's very much implied that he like destroys her, and it's shown later that he destroyed her. And he kind of lives with that.
It's pretty dark.
Pretty dark. And then it cuts to like
and his character is very like it's clear he's building this robot girl to kind of like replace the connection he doesn't have with his family.
He doesn't have a connection with his daughter.
I feel like it's this weird thing where is he building her as a daughter or as a girlfriend? It almost feels like both, and it's like
I don't think
everything and nothing.
Yeah. I don't think so, because he definitely if he was looking for love from it, I feel like he would be a little bit more committed towards it. I think he's just playing around to see.
Yeah,
I think he's just playing around to see what he can do. And when when that threshold is crossed by the robot he's created, he regrets it.
Yeah.
Because it shows him years later, and I love this little house that's in the
I like that they cut. Yeah, I like when they cut. We now see him old enough to be a grandparent. We see his grandkid leave for.
He's on the porch. The daughter from the beginning of it now has a daughter of her own.
Yeah. And he just looks sad.
And he's just sad. He's frumpy and shit. And he's seeing visions of the robot.
This dude's ugly from the beginning.
Yeah, he's got the weirdest haircut.
He has this weird hairdo, and as he gets older,
what's the name of the name of it?
What's the name of the man?
Not the man. Because it's just protagonist girl.
Yeah.
Protagonist girl, granny, daughter, granddaughter, child.
What's the
robot?
What's the robot?
Small mecha.
No, that's one of the toys that just makes a noise.
Then it's girl.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Besides the point. This is just how vague all this shit is. And he sees the visions of her, and she calls back to him. And I don't know if I think this is just a psyche thing, because I don't think
she's not literally there.
No, I don't think so. He's fucking probably.
He has a vision.
He's going
of her.
senile.
He has a vision of her coming to him and being like, "I'm still waiting for my knight in shining armor," and then she explodes. See, okay, it's lines like that make me think he was trying to create some sort of Paris, and maybe that's why I don't like it as much as you do, because I kind of find the main character
I don't find him very likable.
I find him kind of a creep. He's still sympathetic, but I feel like if we were seeing this from someone else's perspective,
if we were seeing from her perspective, this would be a horror story.
Yeah, no, fully. And then I think he goes. It's implied that he either passes on or he goes. He goes back first.
He goes back
even later.
I think it's he maybe either buries her or pays his respects.
He goes back first and sees the robot more. I really like that scene because you could see how the dust has covered all the toys.
I kind of wish we had ended there.
I agree. I wish it ended there. That's what I mean.
And left it on an ambiguous
That's
note.
what I mean when I say it goes on for a little long, is because you essentially have 3 separate segments.
Yeah, we have 3 different endings where it's the ending where he hits it with a wrench that we don't see.
Leaves it behind. The
ending where he apologizes. And then the ending where
he dies and goes to heaven.
Because he fully he fully at one point he's on the porch and it's even older than what he was, because
this is the final section.
Yeah.
And he sees the vision of her again, and then it just cuts to him not being there. His
his wife comes out, and I think it's implied she sees for a split second him leaving with the
because the final shot is him leaving with her.
And then she rubs her eyes, and then they're just both gone.
I don't know, I think that ending rubs me the wrong way, because I don't feel why would he? His death means he gets to go to heaven with the robot girl. I don't know about that.
I think it just might be. I think it's more of a metaphor.
It's very open
created
to
life.
Yeah.
And then because he created life, he then killed her, so she died, and her spirit's
I think
haunting him literally.
I think the short's meant to be a lot more about the nature of sentience than it is
I
like
don't.
romance.
The thing is that what I guess I like more is that he's definitely very socially awkward. The creator, the protagonist. I never got the feeling that he is like romantically or like has some like parental or romantic involvement with the robot, because the robot's definitely hot. Like she's like a living doll.
If you're into the
she has a very well designed
style.
She's very well designed. But I never got the feeling that.
And I would like to make it clear after we said that she doesn't have big boobs or ass or
big jiggly anime.
She's designed like a normal like.
She's very well designed.
It's not a gratuitous design.
This is why I don't think it's romantic. Is that her design's not like gratuitous. It just seems more like he's implied to be a toy maker, and she looks like a toy, and he's like, what can I do? How far can I go with this? And then when he created sentience, he's like, fuck, oh shit.
I guess I just didn't see it that way, but if anything, that shows that it's good because we can interpret it in different ways.
Different interpretations.
It is definitely the longest point.
Yes,
and they could have trimmed some fat.
It's probably 20-ish minutes.
It's like on the 18 to 19 minute scale, if I'm remembering correctly. I just love the not only the art design. I like the story
that's
that's
a
being
given
told.
for any of them. Really.
I like the world implications of like the robots have it integrated in society.
Yeah.
But like with these giant like spouts of those like giant like.
It should be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I restarted it right before we started talking about this movie.
Because this one's probably this one definitely has the most to talk about.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like the large spouts of the giant like technology towers, I guess is what they call. They look very like alien. This seems like this short in particular looks like it could in some feasible way connect to like the opening of the Robot Carnival. This one could probably the most that or Nightmare.
Yeah. Oh, I like. Okay, is Nightmare the next one? No. The next one is. See, okay, this is the part of the movie.
This is the real best short. Strange Tales of Meiji Machine Culture.
What?
Westerners Invasion.
What? That's an interesting.
That's the Saturday morning.
Or Tales of Robots 2. Tales of Two Robots, Chapter 3. Foreign Invasion.
Yeah, this one is straight up just like a
Saturday morning.
It's almost it's a parody of Saturday morning cartoons and mecha animes at the same time.
I like how this is the only other one with voice acting, and they're all doing they're not even doing like stereotypical Japanese accents. Everyone is doing a different accent.
This one's weird.
Every time they talk.
The English version of this is very racist, except for the villain who is canonically
this
American, so they do a normal voice.
This one is probably the funniest one.
I
love that the title just has Chapter 3 in it, as if this were just the third episode.
This was so confusing.
And I love the vibe that the two.
This happens every day.
Yeah, the vibe that these two.
This feels very Phineas and Ferb, but Phineas and Ferb are fighting back.
The two mecha pilots they're using these they're not using
wooden contraptions.
It's like these giant wooden contraptions that are very creaky and move really slowly and require a ridiculous. The villain has to power his with a bike.
English in the original release.
I love the vibe that you have these two these two slow ass giant wooden mechas slowly approaching and fighting each other.
The girl in this is voiced by the same person who did the girl
I think they had only had 5 voice actors.
But besides the point.
I love that these mechas are just slowly approaching each other and slowly fighting.
Because I watched
and it seems like the vibe of the world is just that everybody's like, oh, this is happening.
This is happening again.
Great. This one, there's probably the most notable dub-sub difference, because in the dub, half of the characters in the good guys mech are doing racist Japanese accents. They kind of all are.
They're like Japanese.
Especially
sometimes they're Japanese, racist Japanese
one.
accents, and sometimes they're just like Bostonian. Hey, I'm walking here. Bada boom,
the protagonist seems to be doing a Boston accent. The girl does the most racist.
Yeah, hers is like hard to understand.
Does she slur her L's and R's?
Yeah.
No, she does. She's very like.
She's the worst one of them all.
And then there's like a big dumb guy who sometimes sounds Japanese.
The big dumb guy is just
but
mumbling.
Sometimes just sounds like a big dumb guy.
And then you have the villain in his mech, the villain who's canonically American.
Oh yeah, no. In the Japanese sub, they call him, that American is back.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's saying. He's speaking American.
Yeah.
Which is a metaphor for World War II fucking Americans.
Oh yeah, but it was so
that's
funny.
a running theme in this movie.
It was
just
so
like
funny
Western
watching. It was so
invasion
funny
and shit.
watching the dub and realizing as we were watching. Wait a minute, that villain speaks English in the sub, doesn't he? Because there's subtitles on the
Japanese
side of the
subtitles.
There's Japanese subtitles that they couldn't remove from the.
No,
it's in the animation.
And then there's the one cutaway gag, which is like maybe the funniest.
Oh my god, the cutaway gag. It's when the mechs are fighting at the end. They're creaking, moving really slowly, and then you cut to the hero and the bad guy doing like crazy action anime
like
fights,
punching each other.
No, and it's clear that that's what they think is going on, whereas what's going on in reality is two very slow wooden mechs slowly.
And then at one point, I think
it cuts straight from that to a
no. That's not what happens.
Someone should
what
have
happens
is
is that
music over that
the
fight.
the villain guy. Just because Saturday Morning Villain put all of like his gunpowder and like explosive shit in like the head of it, so that they fire right at it, it explodes. But by I think just like some other way, like I think either they both punch like their powder.
The mechs basically destroy each other.
Yeah, they both explode.
And the response of the characters are first we have the main character going oh with like kanji next to it.
You need to put like this as like
there will be an image. And then you have the villain going oh with the letter A next to it.
And then the fucking funniest part is that like after it's confirmed that the villain like is
that's when we
floating down
knew
a river.
we're like okay he does speak English. That's really fucking
because
funny.
this didn't like the English. What's very funny is that like of course like the villain survives and he's like floating on the river like I'll get you eventually.
Yeah, there's a little stinger from the next episode.
And then the fucking protagonists are all like sitting on their robot like looking at the sunset, and the sunset's the fucking like Imperial Japan logo. And we were like.
Well, that makes sense because this is meant to be our parody World War II Japanese propaganda.
This is the most fun one. The thing I will say though is that with Presence,
is it a parody?
Is it a parody?
It feels like a parody of a lot of different things. That's why.
Because I
doubt
that the creators were salty enough about
it also
were so imperialistic that they were still like trying to put out
the thing is it also feels like a parody of Gundam before Gundam existed.
It's very funny.
Gundam existed by this point.
I want to read a little.
It's like
Gundam.
It's like a parody of every Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay.
It's
because there are several people that
the one thing I'll say about it is with this being right after Presence.
Here, I got it.
I like to hold my.
Wait.
That's fair.
Look at the Wikipedia.
This is the director.
The director,
Hiroyuki
Kitakubo.
He did Golden. Oh shit! He did Golden Boy.
He did Golden Boy.
Other very funny.
He did Blood the Last Vampire and Rajin Z.
If you go over the next one, it's the character designer.
Yeah.
This guy has a picture.
This guy actually has. He's a real person.
Yeah, this guy has.
Stop. The more we talk about these things, the more I'm gonna have to put them on the screen.
Oh, really?
Scroll down. Okay, wait. That's
the manga. I think he might have been the manga artist.
Manga artist.
Let's go back to the
He did
shorts.
Summer Wars. Besides the point. Sorry.
I don't want to spend too much time looking at Wikipedia articles.
I was doing this for a quick joke because this is also a quick joke segment.
Yeah, it is. No. What the thing I was gonna say is that with this one coming right after Presence, there's a bit of a I don't know how what
there's
what
a lot
were
of
they
whiplash.
in the original?
There's a lot of whiplash.
Okay, I don't know if this is the original order.
I don't know. Just
this order goes Franken'S, Deprive, which is the
Presence, which is the
doll one.
What I really want to know.
Starlight Angel, Cloud.
I don't even think that is the YouTube
then this
order.
one.
So
this is not the YouTube order. The YouTube order puts Starlight Angel.
But my question
this is like Love, Death, and Robots. There's always a different order.
My question is, does the YouTube upload of the original sub version have this right after Presence? Because I feel like
I can check this real quick.
Yeah, go check because these are the two longest ones in the movie.
They're also the ones with like subs
and
with actual dialogue.
And I feel like there's a pacing issue with having both of these right next to each other.
Very funny.
It kind of.
There's mega whiplash.
These two back and forth kind of kill the pacing at the very end.
They kill the pacing of the end of the movie, but thankfully the last show kind of
nightmare gets the pacing back. Hold on, give me a moment.
Yeah.
Because I can just scroll through it and see.
There's also in the comments of the video timestamps for each short.
Alright, so it's Starlight Angel, then Clouds, then Deprive, then Franken'S, then Presence, and they're next to each other.
They're next to each other. Okay, so the
version,
pacing issue is intact.
Every version tries to get them together for some reason.
I haven't studied much
of
American. I
American.
think they changed a lot of the dialogue in this one.
I would not be surprised if, like, when they got the script for this, they just threw everything out.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of that. The original might feel less Saturday morning cartoon than this does. Like they added some more Saturday morning cartoony dialogue.
It's also, the people are very misogynistic, of course, towards the girl in this version too.
Oh.
They call her a pig-faced bitch.
What? Oh my god. I don't know if we should tell people to watch this subbed or dubbed now.
You have to watch both to understand the cultural differences.
Oh.
Besides the point, also in this version, the final thing has a very funnier name.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay.
The final short, speaking of Nightmare, as it's called in America, but in Japan, it's called Chicken Man and Redneck.
Redneck is the robot.
Is the robot that's like infecting shit.
We're moving on to Nightmare now because I was talking about pacing issues in the movie, and I feel like we're gonna have pacing issues in our video if we talk about those other two
It's
shorts.
set in
Nightmare,
the
red
city of
font.
Tokyo.
The red font transition.
You know,
the fear font.
Yeah, the fear font.
It is overrun by machines that turned into robots of all shapes and sizes by a robotic magician named Redneck.
This
robotic magician is the most way to describe this fucking
I really like this one
because
great. It's such a weird. This is
the most, like, we say Cloud is the most Fantasia. This is actually the most Fantasia because it feels like a direct homage to Night on Bald Mountain.
This one also goes back to what I was saying earlier about tonal, like some fun tonal difference, because one half of this short, like part of this short is terrifying robot invasion of Earth.
This is the Akira one.
This is by Takahashi Nakamura, who did a lot of stuff, but most notably did key animation on Nausicaa and was the animation director on Akira.
Dope. Of course there were Nausicaa animators in this. This movie is so based.
This guy made Sonic.
Sonic is also based. Not really. It could be.
Sometimes. It depends on which
I fluctuate between based and cringe as fast as I can run.
Gotta go fast.
Besides the point.
Alright, it opens on this like...
No, I want to explain what I like about it, because I was doing that and then we went on a tangent. One part of this one is robot invasion with some of the most interesting designs for robot
it feels
invaders.
like patchwork robots.
Yeah, they're all angular and they feel like they're made out of different parts, just sort of.
It's like how
they're very mutated.
It's like how a robot would make a robot.
Yeah, because that's literally what's happening. Is the robot shows up and then creates.
Like it's not made to be appealing.
And then by the end of the short, you can see all the robots are trying to build a giant robot that looks more human.
Yeah.
Like that's them and wanting to be more. That's one storyline. And then you have the other part of it, which is Chicken Man. Which is drunk man wakes up in the street, realizes his world has been taken over by robots, and spends the rest of the short running from Redneck.
Yes.
The robot with this red cloak.
Yeah, he was riding a scooter, if I remember correctly.
No, well, he rides a little scooter thing.
That is the most.
Rides a motorcycle.
That part is the most Akira part because there's a huge thing in Akira of them going around on bikes, and there's this famous shot of the Akira bike sliding into frame, and with the trails coming behind it. And if you've seen a shot of a person on a bike sliding into frame, it's an Akira reference.
Okay. I just like the weird tonal contrast between this horrifying robot invasion and this Saturday morning cartoon Looney Tunes-esque chase sequence. I also like that the human character in this doesn't.
But I feel like it never loses that horror.
It never loses the horror. It balances both excellently. And the other thing I like is that the Chicken Man that's being chased, he's animated specifically like an old Disney movie.
Like a Cruella de Vil.
Like Cruella de Vil's thief henchman or Edgar from the. I got Edgar from the Aristocats vibe specifically because there's a whole sequence in that movie where Edgar is on a motorcycle, and in this movie. The Chicken Man is on a motorcycle the whole time.
And
so that makes it feel both like Looney Tunes and like old Disney, which is this interesting.
But it has this like
but
very
with also
art.
artsy Disney with like the big demonic robots.
Honestly, if Disney was gonna design Robot Apocalypse, it would probably look like this.
Yeah, and then there's the final shot of it.
Yeah, I love when it's like it's building up to like
moment.
like all of this like
The
chase.
the two characters that are chasing basically accidentally destroy the big robot and destroy all the robots just through like set cartoon happenstance.
And then like they bring it up to the giant robot and like when it sees him, it slowly starts to collapse.
Oh yeah, and then I think I know what ending shot you're talking about, where the human character, he wakes up again after having fallen asleep again, and this time he and his motorcycle are just on top of this pole that is sticking out of a building, and you zoom out. And you can see just the whole city skyscape.
It's been completely been remade.
Things have just been shoved, like all these metal pieces just going through it. But I also like that when you zoom out, you hear this ambient, like town music going.
Yeah.
There's almost this implication with it that only this part of the city got destroyed by this robot invasion, and that the robot invasion just happened overnight.
The last sentence is when the sun rises, the robots disappear and everything is turned back to normal. But Chicken Man awakens to find that the now restored machines are embedded high in the skyscrapers, while the citizens of Tokyo go about their lives far below.
Yeah, so it's this,
which is kind of a fun.
It's
kind of a fun reversal because usually it's like the people in the bottom of an apocalypse are the ones whose lives get turned to shit, while the people on the high rises
it's more capitalism.
Go about their days.
Yeah.
But here we get a reversal.
Yeah, it's almost like everybody woke up and nobody even knew the robot thing happened except our main.
I think this is a running metaphor is to be scared of technology.
This very much embodies the fear of technology.
This is the last short before the ending sequence, and I feel like after some of the pacing issues in the middle, it really kind of ties it ties back into the theming of the other shorts very well.
Yeah, because Meiji kind of kills it. It kills it in the best way, but it kills it.
So then we have an ending sequence which cuts back to, and I'm gonna hurry this up because we've been talking for almost an hour.
This is gonna be a long one.
Yeah, I know this is gonna be a long one.
Well, this is what you do for an anthology because each story element.
I know. Well, and it's like in whatever. We'll get the ending bit. We cut back to the desert setting of the opening, and this time we have the robot carnival machine rises up, almost looks at the sunset as it's like it falls apart basically. And I love how they use the music in this one is really good too. I feel like a lot of the shorts have one recurring music piece they use, and some of those pieces are really like
very good. And then others are like, why is it the same 4 chords?
And then you get that final little tease of
I love
bringing the music box back.
The final scene is this really dark joke
where very dark.
Where a family living in a house in the middle of this desert.
And it has kids, it has like babies.
They bring this robotic music box home. It opens up,
and it's the same.
And it's the same dancing dolls from the beginning of the movie
like
that dropped as bombs. And you're watching it dance, and you know, like, it's
gonna pans out from like.
And then
it doesn't pan out. You see it like it's dancing, and all the kids and the babies and the family are like, "Yay,
first
we're
you
happy,
get that little moment of suspense when it stops, when it's like, okay, is it gonna blow up? Is something gonna happen? And then you're like, okay, no. And then it does blow up.
Yes, and I love that they have like a single frame where it's about to blow, and you can see the faces of the characters shift from yay to oh, and then the house just blows up, and the music starts again. It's like it's not that, but
the end.
It's not that, but it basically does that. It blows up. There's fireworks, and it pans up to end in the same big box. The opening.
Oh, there's my mom.
The opening and ending are such perfect, like opener closer segments for the short. Like they really
the opening and closer are better than some of the middle.
This anthology didn't even need an anchoring point. It just needed these opening and ending to set up the.
The opening and ending are better anchors than having they had kept cutting back to this.
Exactly.
It's better than cutting to Steve Martin in Fantasia.
And we'll talk about that in a minute.
Steve Martin. Fantasia 2000!
This is the most 2000 actors list ever, besides James Earl Jones.
We joked that this feels like they took B-roll from the 2000s Oscars and then put those in this.
It has an look. This is going to sound very. This isn't insulting.
So we are talking about Fantasia 2000.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Fantasia 2000.
We're saving Heavy Metal 2000 for the.
I was gonna do a summary of Love, Death, and Robots, but I know
we already did that.
Yeah, we did already do that. Go watch that one. But also watch Fantasia 2000.
You mean Robot Carnival?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying Love, Death, and Robots instead of
Time
Robot
code for Coleman losing his mind. Time code for Fantasia 2000.
Legit. Okay. Just summarize, if any, quick 1 minute thoughts.
I love 80s anime more than Disney is what I learned from this episode, and that's Fantasia 2000 time.
Yeah. Are we gonna do the hot take of Robot Carnival is better than Fantasia 2000?
I don't think that's that hard of a take because for some reason people really hate Fantasia 2000.
Really hate it. It's not a bad thing. It has a lot of.
It has good shorts. It's just that it's not. I think. Okay, we talked about this. We feel like it's kind of like the difference between an artistic passion and a paycheck.
The original Fantasia has more artistic value, but I actually kind of find the new one more entertaining.
I feel like this is a better movie.
Yeah,
but I feel like Fantasia was a better experiment.
There's less shorts in this one, which helps. It means there's less filler. There's really only one stinker short in Fantasia 2000.
Do we all agree on what it is?
The bald doll one?
The steadfast tin soldier.
Which is the worst because they preface this one with saying
oh, I love the description they give before this where we've always been in the original Fantasia we tried to do this but it didn't work so we tried it again.
It's not just
it's such a wow this is so obvious that this was a cutting room
they do this whole montage.
I like how we're coming out of this in order. We're not going back to the start yet. We're gonna do this.
We're gonna talk about the bad one first.
The bad one first.
There's Piano Concerto No. 2.
What's so dumb?
That's the song.
What's so dumb is that in the montage of before they preface this of other ones that got cut. The ones that got cut sound
so much better.
The Ride of the Valkyries one?
Ride of the Valkyries, Salvador Dali.
Oh yeah, there was one song. Oh my god.
I can't
believe he fucking died before 2000.
So between every short in this one and this is what most people complain about with Fantasia 2000, but I didn't think it was that irritating.
The celebrities.
They have celebrities talk about stuff.
Some of them are okay, like James Earl Jones.
James Earl Jones is fine. Penn and Teller, it's always weird to see that.
I don't know why there's a 5-minute Penn and Teller sketch.
They were funny. They were funny, but it's
so weird is that for Disney, this isn't an insulting. I hope this does not sound insulting to the actors. They could have gotten so much bigger actors at this time.
Yeah.
I don't know why they got
Steve
Martin was pretty big. But I don't know why they pulled I don't know why they pulled Penn and Teller when they could have easily pulled Tom Hanks or someone.
Bette Midler.
Why didn't
Bette Midler?
Wait, why didn't they use Tom Hanks?
Yeah,
Disney
why not
loves Tom Hanks.
Yeah, pull Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks is so classy too. Why didn't they use
him? Was super big in 1999, 2000.
Tom Hanks would have been a great
Tom Hanks. He could have hosted that, and he would have fully.
He could have just done the whole thing, and I would have been like.
What's weird? This is my point.
At worst, these segments feel like the Oscars, and at best, they are entertaining distractions.
Yeah.
The Oscars.
They never get above the Oscars.
Yeah, they're too short to not be annoying. If
Yeah,
they pulled fucking.
I feel like you used a few double negatives. Yeah, they're short enough to not be annoying.
Yeah.
They're short enough not to be annoying, except when they are annoying.
Okay, but anyway, the point of that I was trying to say is before this Tin Man Soldier short,
we get a bunch of small clippets of
not even more like art.
Yeah, like
they describe it as concepts.
For other shorts that they would have used if they had gone with their original plan for Fantasia of being an ever progressing.
I wanted to talk about that because that is
I want to talk
cool
about that.
idea.
That's a cool idea.
That's such a cool idea. They probably could do now.
They
could have done that
now.
It would be easier to do now
because you have streaming.
Because you could just be like, okay.
Whenever we get Fantasia 2050, I guess. Because I think it's too short. I don't think
Fantasia 3000.
But the weird thing is they tried to do that with this movie, make this a continuation of the original Fantasia, like an upgrade, by including the Mickey Mouse Sorcerer's Apprentice.
The way I watched this, is so fucking scuffed.
Oh right, you just watched it in parts on YouTube.
There's a 12-part upload on YouTube that does not feature the Mickey Mouse and the Donald Duck one. I guess it's because Disney has like the scan and they.
Oh yeah,
they're
that's
like
the Donald. No,
but they don't see like the space whales or the Rhapsody in Blue one.
They don't care about.
But
they don't care about that.
They present these concept art for all these good shorts that they
they
wanted to do over the years, and the one they chose is this stupid Nutcracker-esque tin soldier. Why is anything vaguely Nutcracker-esque bad? The Nutcracker is cursed.
The Nutcracker is cursed.
Besides the point.
Also, I love how you can tell how bad it is. We have spent like 5 minutes on this section about it, not talking about it.
Yeah. What even happens in this short? I don't remember.
Soldier, little boy soldier has crush on ballerina, but
ballerina
but
is
Harvey Weinstein in a box.
When the Harvey Weinstein
in a box.
It's this Jack in the Box who's like trying to flirt with her, and by flirt I mean harass her.
And
then
he has a cool design.
I guess, but he also is unsettling in the way that the whole art style for this short is vaguely unsettling.
I have another thesis.
It has this doll. It has this doll look that does not work.
It's like they saw.
It is. They had Toy Story, and they're like, we can do more toys.
Yeah. Toy Story, and
they saw Toy Story
because it literally does like the strike to midnight, and then
the mix of 2D and 3D animation here
works
also
in
really
some,
does not work.
It does not work. There are some shorts where it works not.
Fantasia 2000 has less. Part of the reason it has less artistic value is not just that it's trying to be it's not trying to be as artsy. It's also that the visuals don't age as well because they're a mix of. I mean,
I don't think value is to say like because I think that dismisses a lot. But what it is just like it does not age well. It didn't age.
Yeah,
some of these age very badly. Like the fucking tin soldier one.
Yeah.
Can we just move on?
Yeah, we'll move on.
It's a whole
I think we need to take a break and let this
charge
charge,
and then we'll talk about it. That it's the worst one.
Yeah, and so we'll talk about the other ones that are all okay to great.
Yeah.
All right, we talked about the worst short in Fantasia 2000.
So bad that we had to take a break. Come on.
Oh, we forgot to send the dog out. And now we're going to talk about the other Fantasia 2000 shorts. Go. Yeah. We're going to talk about the other.
Which one's next?
Let's just go.
I want to commit to an order at this point.
Let's just go back to start.
We're going to go in order now.
Right.
We just wanted to get the worst one out of the way first. The only one we know about.
Symphony number 5 by Beethoven.
Is that the whales?
The butterfly one.
Oh, I literally don't even remember.
They don't really have good information on who actually made these.
The butterfly one is kind of just the most purely visual.
I think it's Kelvin Yasuda is maybe the story guy.
It doesn't matter. They're all Disney people.
The butterfly one is clearly a reference to the opening of the first Fantasia with the more abstract, less about telling a story.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I remember it. This
less about telling a story, more about just having a bunch of cool visuals.
This one kind of feels the most original Fantasia. I think.
Yeah, because it's boring.
Because it's boring.
Because it's a little slow and a little boring.
It feels like it is much more like it's like we're doing random beautiful visuals and that's our entire.
Because the original Fantasia had that gimmick of like the 3 different styles of short.
Well, what's the thing is that was the 1940s. This is 2000.
Yeah. But now they're like, okay, we're just gonna do the best one. The one where it's like either a definitive story or a definitive series of events.
Yeah. This movie is much more, and that's part of what makes it more entertaining than the original Fantasia, is that it is more story-based. Each short is either a story or a connected series of events. We can move on from the butterfly one.
There's not really much.
The next one's like good.
Oh yeah, the Pines of Rome, the whale one.
Yes, the whale one's
beautiful.
I love that one.
But first you have to have Steve Martin talking.
Steve Martin's like, and then he throws it to a musician who throws to the shore.
Yeah, Steve Martin's bit is the most awkward of all the bits.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I can't tell if they wrote them himself or he was
He's a good comedian, but I just don't like.
I think no. What happened was they approached him like at the Oscars. He's like, we need you to write something for the Disney thing. He's like, fucking fine. I'll come up with something on the spot.
So the whale one is really good.
Yeah.
It's very good whenever the whales are far out because the CG is not that
The
good.
CG's not good.
The whale, the flying
This is probably the
whales
one
are
that has
CG.
aged the worst because there's a really
But-
cool idea there.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of
But
ruined
it's
by the
also
subpar
in terms of CG animation, the most ambitious.
It's
Yeah.
probably,
You can tell they use this to practice for things like Treasure Planet and Atlantis.
This is probably
which
the
is
most-
a
also have
mixture
their
of
own
2D
arguments.
animation
Yeah.
and 3D.
What I like about it though is that I think this is where they figure out if we do stuff in the dark, the CG doesn't look as bad.
Yeah.
Because in the rainstorm, when like it's the lightning flashing and every
Yeah.
like major note, and
This is about whales that
As soon-
swim and
yeah.
also fly, and it's pretty dope.
yeah, it's
There are
flying whales just
there are
cool.
shots that age
I love-
not great, but compared to any of the CG in our next movie,
Oh.
these whales are
Besides the point,
beautiful.
this is okay. Let's comparing Disney to fucking maybe $100,000.
Right? Yeah. One whale took as much animation
let
money
me
as the
actually
entirety of Heavy
see.
Metal. 2000. We can
15
talk.
million was the budget for Heavy Metal 2000.
Oh my god.
That's not even bad by animation standards.
Yeah. What the.
10 million of that went to Michael Ironside.
Michael
And the other
Ironside.
5 went to Billy Idol.
Idol.
We'll
Yeah.
get
and
to
then the
that.
rest they
We'll get to
scammed
that
out of
one.
insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love the build up to the climax with like the whales like splashing into the ocean in the sky.
Yeah, I love that the
on
sky
cue with
becomes the
symbols.
ocean by the end. So
Yeah,
cool.
it's a
I
really
just love flying whales. I
Yeah,
love that
it's
motif.
dope.
Of
it's a
just
great
trope.
motif. Yeah.
They Fish Knight in Love, Death, and Robots
Fish
season 1
Knight,
clearly took some
yeah,
inspiration.
A lot of
from
like
this.
Leviathan shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that shit.
Flying
there's like an
whales are
SCP that has like a space whale that like can
Oh my
like
God.
affect gravity
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah,
Besides
yeah.
the point.
The next short after this was this Rhapsody in Blue?
Yeah, Rhapsody in Blue.
Rhapsody
this is
in
probably,
Blue is so base.
This is like
Is
probably
this the best
be-
one?
This
I-
or the
In my
last
opinion,
one.
my opinion, this is the best one, or the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
this-
all in agreement that those two are the best.
These like and they're good in different ways. So
Yes.
they
They're
don't
good in
have to
different ways.
compete.
This one's
Rhapsody
like-
in
this
Blue
one's so just, like,
uses the
comedic.
least CG. It's just pure 2D animation.
That,
it has
okay,
a very
I also think
distinct
it has
art
the best
style.
music, and I might be partial to that.
Yeah,
because I
they-
love this shit.
I
Well,
feel
I
like-
love that they use different music in this than not just all concert pieces.
Yeah,
Well,
they
the
use
thing is,
more
Rhapsody
jazz.
in Blue is just a jazz piece, and the thing is, jazz pieces, when they were originally made in the 20s, jazz pieces were like 40 minutes of just instrumentals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
And
what
then they
this
added vocals later, and then they got flanderized.
This
you
one's-
know, and
this-
now, and that's how we got Michael
this one's
Bublé.
just a series of
Thanks.
This one's just a series of events where
Like telling the story of New York.
There's a couple of
four
good
different
characters.
characters who are
I love
chosen to
a
represent
construction
other-
worker, an out of work businessman,
I love
a
that
child.
Well, we should say what each of their. So the construction worker is.
He wants to be a drummer.
He's basically the protagonist of Soul.
Yeah.
Even design wise,
Even
it's
design
pretty similar.
Oh, speaking of design, this short has a really good like art style. It's almost like a
Rhapsody
combination.
in Blue, and the primary colors are blue and gray.
Blue,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like if you know that show Class of 3000. It has a very similar art style. It also reminds me of a lot of like New Yorker.
It looks like the Jetsons.
New Yorker shows.
It looks
Yeah.
like the
or the
Jetsons.
Jetsons.
Or, yeah,
Which is
it's
really cool.
Very
feel-
simple but clean.
It looks very
art
classic.
style.
It looks
It's-
very
it's
Hanna-Barbera. Not Hanna-Barbera.
It looks very classic Disney, more so than anything else.
One of my favorite moments in this is the
Which means it ages the best because it's not trying
well,
to
it
do
ages
fancy
the best in the fact
3D
that it looks
graphics.
good, and then it's also still like looks good.
It still
Like,
looks good,
classic.
and
It looks
still
good,
very
and it also
stylized.
still looks good. Yes.
One of my favorite parts is more so my favorite moment is when they cut to like the elevator the doorkeeper at the hotel.
Yeah.
And that like whenever the music kicks up, he just gets trampled by people.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like that big build up and then the constant running in and out of people.
I love that bit.
There's a lot of great. So there's the four characters: the construction worker who wants to be a musician, the out of work man who's depressed because he wants to find work again.
This also
Slash
takes place
make
in the
money.
30s.
The man who gets trampled all over by his wife.
Yeah, they'll put
in an
upon
unhappy
I like that guy
relationship.
too.
And then the kid who
just wants that.
sad.
Their mom and dad aren't spending time with them.
That's
Yeah,
what
and
it
they're
is.
like
And-
getting thrown in like all these.
but I like that it's not. This one's not a super clean narration. It's kind of just.
It keeps shifting in and out with
It
different
transitions between the storylines
protagonists.
effortlessly, almost like you're floating around the city, seeing the different things.
If anything, the story is about the city itself and
Yeah,
like how
yeah.
this is like a day in the life of the
Hey, I'm
city.
from New York. New York's a kid.
Hey, I'm walking
You,
here.
the protagonist, you, the audience member, are seeing it through the eyes of the city,
Yeah.
not through the eyes of any
It's
one
kind of like a
character.
bird's eye view.
Yeah. There's a lot of bird's eye view shots
really cool.
and fun
Yeah.
little
Really cool.
cartoons. This is just
I think-
a really cool one.
I really like that bit at the end.
Isn't it the best? Isn't this one the one that James Earl Jones introduces?
Yes, I think so.
Which also just
space. My favorite part is when it's like my favorite part is when it's built like it's building up at the end after the guy throws away the construction equipment to go pursue his dream of drumming, and like each character's plot dominoes into another one, and it all climaxes with the parents running downstairs to save their kids.
Phrasing. They all climax.
They all climax together. And it all builds to the parents running down the stairs to save their kid from traffic.
Yeah, and I love that bit because there's cars like around the cars all stop in like a complete circle around the kid. It's very
such a great visual of like the music cutting out and starting again on each car stopping.
This movie in general, I feel like this movie.
Because I feel like with Fantasia, the original Fantasia, they were kind of inventing the idea of like making animation for music.
Yeah, and this is almost this feels like a more refined.
This was before AMGs were out there.
Yeah, they saw the Last Resort DBZ AMV, and they're like, oh, we need to step up our game for Fantasia 2000.
Oh my god,
Fantasia 2025.
And I think that's about everything to say about that one.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's a really good one, yeah. And then the next one is
the
yo-yo one, the Carnivals of the Animals.
I forgot this one existed.
This is the flamingo?
It's really short, but it's got really good animation.
When we say really short, it is literally like a minute long.
Yeah.
Which is good because it's such a simple premise that it would overstay its welcome if it was longer.
No, this is James. Is this James?
I don't know.
It was someone.
But I like that this was the first short in the movie that I was like, if this had been in the original Fantasia, it would have been 10 minutes long and it would have been long and boring. Yeah. But in this, it's
because it was based on the Dance of the Animals one from the early Fantasia,
which was one of the most overly long
up with the music. So the music in the 40s were all fuck off long, but this is 2000.
Yeah.
Like Crazy Frog was already.
And then we get a.
Imagine if one of these.
I don't think it was.
Imagine a Crazy Frog.
All right, and then we have the rehash of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. But I actually like how the transition from that, where it's like the shot from the original Fantasia of Mickey shaking the kid up
that is good. And then he
runs up.
It's a nice behind the curtain moment.
Yeah, and then it's the pomp and circumstance one with Donald Duck.
Yeah, I like the Donald Duck.
It's so funny because
Donald is Noah.
We were laughing our asses off because every animal looked like they came from a different cartoon.
Yeah, some looked like they were from old Disney. I was like, that's Aristocats Disney. That's Lion King Disney. That's Jungle Book Disney. That's
Frog Disney.
There were two frogs, and they literally looked like. That's DreamWorks.
That's DreamWorks. That's Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
That's.
There isn't that much to say about this one. It's just Donald is Noah, and he's herding all the animals onto the ark, and
it's propaganda.
Through
environmentalist propaganda.
Through cartoony situations, Donald thinks Daisy died in the flood, and Daisy thinks Donald died, and then they run around sad and they meet each other at the end.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's fun.
I definitely saw this in Vacation Bible
You've probably seen it at school or on the Disney Channel in a 5-minute gap between two shows.
You've probably seen it like used on the House of Mouse cartoon out of context.
Yeah.
And then like the Firebird one is the finale, the forest one.
Very good.
He was calling it the Druid one in the car.
It's very Druid-like.
Yeah, it's this main character that's this
it opens on this moose and like a forest nymph, I think.
Mm-hmm. That comes. The way she comes out of the water is so fucking beautiful.
It is so beautiful.
This whole short is so good. This one is the best example.
You were saying like this is what Pocahontas wanted to be.
Yeah.
This is the one where I did not remember any of the music, but only remembered the fun.
I kind of remember some of the music, but who cares? Because oh my god,
this is some of the best mixing of 2D animation and computer animation out there.
I didn't even notice that there was computer in the
the movement of the Druid forest nymph, I don't think
it was like
that way.
I think it was a 3D model that they then drew over.
That works all the fucking time.
That always works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works all the time.
That is just how you do it.
That's how they did in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Because that.
Or they kind of did that. Whatever.
Yeah. Like I love like the story it tells of like the forest nymph or the forest goddess or the forest creek character like bringing life back to the forest after winter, but then a massive volcano hits and it like destroys all her work.
And the lava
and leaves her
bird,
kind
the
of
fire
hopeless.
bird that is chasing
Oh,
her
it's
is
so
such,
beautiful.
Like, oh my gosh.
But
This
then,
is
like,
the
but
most-
then,
this is the
like,
most beautiful short.
but then, like, she gets rejuvenated because she realizes, well, fire destroys, but it can also create new life afterwards.
Yeah.
And she brings force back, and she brings life back to the forest even more than it was before.
Yeah.
And it ends on this. God damn it! You're making me regret. It ends on this
climax.
This big shot of her just like her face takes up the whole frame, and she's just like got this big like look of joy on her because the forest is back to life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a great short. Like us describing
It's such a great closer.
It's a great closer, and it's like us describing it is not doing justice. You really need to just watch this short.
Say what you will about Fantasia 2000 and some of the like talking bits in between, or one of the
Talking bits are never.
They don't stick around.
They're never not annoying, but they never ruin the.
They're not as big a part of the movie as I thought they were going to be.
Yeah,
I think
people always look for stuff that's bad. They're like, oh, the shorts, they're kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Now let's mention
This movie's massively overhated.
It is overhated. Like it's not super hated, but like the hate it does get, it is it's way too much for what actually happens.
I feel like it's a worthy follow-up to Fantasia.
What I think kind of contributes to that is that I think maybe the original Fantasia is a bit overhyped.
It is.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Because the type of people who are really into Fantasia movies Fantasia 2000 is way less artsy.
Yes.
But it's a way
which
better
makes it
movie.
more entertaining.
I think it's a way better movie
yeah.
because of how each short fills its time and relates to each
other.
other.
But I could see if you're just looking for the purest form of artsy visuals, you would like the original Fantasia better.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think Love, Death, and Robots is better than both of them. I'm just gonna say.
You mean Robot Carnival?
I keep saying the wrong thing.
No, it's just Robot Carnival.
Robot Carnival.
But you know what?
It's better than both of them. Love, Death, and Robots is not.
Well, you know what we can all agree on?
That Heavy
better
Metal
than Heavy Metal
is the worst thing we've ever
Heavy
watched.
Metal 2000.
Not really.
I think you mean
it's pretty.
Excuse me. It's called Heavy Metal FAC 2.
God fucking damn it. God fucking damn it.
Okay, so
is it worse than Gulliver's Travels?
I don't
yes.
know.
I think it is, but Gulliver's Travels is a bigger waste of time.
I feel like we got less out of watching Gulliver's Travels.
That's fair.
Than we
I
did
would
out of
rather
this
watch
movie.
Gulliver's Travels than watch this movie.
That's fair.
I think that's just a difference of priorities between the three of us.
Yeah, because some of these scenes I actually had to skip because I was like, I fucking hate this. This is fucking stupid.
He watched because planning.
We were making a bet to see when you would.
I did watch all of it.
If this isn't clear, planning a Fear podcast when some of us are in different places and some of us are having a guest at the same time is hard. Luke ended up watching Fantasia 2000 and Heavy Metal 2000 by himself.
It was fully fine because then I could fully watch them at my own pace.
Okay,
yeah.
So
he would stop watching Heavy Metal 2000.
Here's how I watched it.
Okay, we're almost done with the podcast, so I think I'm just gonna rush through Heavy Metal 2000.
Let him share how he watched it.
You share it, then I'll rush through it.
Here's the funny part about it. I googled Heavy Metal 2000 watch. First link is a link because of course they're not gonna fucking try to market this fucking movie. It's not a full screen. It's in a center of the screen because this fucking movie doesn't exist in anything maybe above 720.
No. We watched it on Prime Video, and it was maybe 480?
480
probably closer
max.
to 240.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
It looks awful.
It looked bad. I never full screened it. I watched the first, maybe not even 10 minutes. I watched it to where the main villain, Tyler.
The main villain's name is Tyler, by the way.
The evil dreadlord,
Tyler.
murderer supreme,
Tyler.
Who is just some normal guy who gets corrupted by some rock thing and then becomes an insane evil super.
But besides the point, everyone in this movie's fucking evil.
Yeah. Even Julie.
Literally everyone in this movie is fucking awful. Besides the point, maybe the dad who dies in the first minute is fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, guy kills him, and then I'm like, fuck this movie. I'm gonna put it on 10 minutes. So I put it on 2x speed, and then even then when I would watch it in 2x speed, there would be scenes where I'm just like, okay, the main fact of this scene is just someone's gonna get sexually assaulted.
Yeah, the main character, the main girl, or
you know what's bad?
Like
the very first shot of not only the sister but any female in this movie is her just
there's
fully
there's never a full-on rape scene, but there's a lot of
they get very
and
close.
A lot of,
there's like 3 scenes where people
there is
get
3 or
sexually
4
assaulted
scenes,
or almost sexually
there are
assaulted.
3 or 4 scenes where someone gets nearly sexually assaulted or gets borderline sexually assaulted. Or,
Just
no,
like,
they do get sexually assaulted, they just don't get raped.
Just like the original Heavy Metal, this movie is very sexist.
This movie hates women.
Honestly, okay, I was telling Kirk this. We watched the original Heavy Metal is an anthology where the last part of the anthology is a 30-minute short.
I was led to believe that this was an anthology.
I didn't know this. We're gonna say so. This is not an anthology.
I wanted them to go in blind so that they would suffer.
Because Kirk is evil.
Movie's bad.
If heavy metal, if the last
take the Tarna short from Heavy Metal
if the 30-minute
and stretch it to an hour and 30 minutes and make it feel like 3 hours.
Well, that's the thing is the Tarna short that is only half an hour long in Heavy Metal feels like it's an hour and a half. This movie that's actually an hour and a half.
An hour 24 minutes.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Feels like it's like Snyder Cut length.
It's
maybe
really
not quite.
okay,
that
so
long,
I'm
but-
going to. The movie opens up with Tyler getting.
Well, no. Before that, it opens up.
No, we have to.
No, I have to talk about the spaceships and how bad they look.
The CG in this movie is very 2000.
They tried so. It's not even 2000s.
It's just bad.
I said this when we were watching. It's PS1 cutscene, but it's 3DO game
It's
cutscene.
3DO game cutscenes.
Like,
it's not even good enough to be on the PS1.
It's 90s video game cutscenes, 3D animation, and I don't know why didn't you just draw the spaceships? Why are there so many Star Wars-esque
because that would require drawing things.
The first 5
Where did all the $15 million
The first 5 minutes of a movie is
fucking Ralph Bakshi makes movies on less than $1 million that look better than this.
The first 5 minutes are just 240p spaceships, long-ass Star Wars shots.
The spaceships look stupid. They look like marshmallows.
They look.
The CG is some of the worst CG I've ever seen.
Here's the worst fucking part. Is that they open up with this stupid fucking...
The Donkey Kong show looks better.
The Donkey Kong show does look better because they treat women better.
They also treat women better, which is kind of saying something. Because that show doesn't really like the main
Imagine if
lead.
instead of Tyler in this movie, it was Leo Luster.
Oh my god, this movie would be bad. Well, I don't know if it would actually be amazing. But
it'd be better.
It would be better.
My favorite part is they also open up with a fucking dialogue that's like, the Schminkies do this 10,000
yeah,
years
there's
ago, and then the
exposition at the
Schmeekies do the poopy doopy in the
Special Planet
Iraqians.
Zebus. Like
that's how it sounds because I don't give a shit.
It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense.
It's nonsense that never makes sense and never coalesces. It's all just window dressing for what bad guy becomes super powered and is trying to become immortal, so we have to stop him.
Keep in mind, we've said all this bad stuff about the villain, Tyler. He's the most entertaining character in the movie.
He's the best thing about this movie, and he's terrible.
He's the most entertaining character in the movie, and he's like
He's like a discount Patrick Warburton.
Whenever we disclose
he has
something about this, you have to mention that every male character besides the Rock gnome has tried to rape someone.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a female lead and her female sister who are both each shown naked
many times.
The female sister is introduced to us naked,
in the shower.
and the main female is introduced to us ass first as she's climbing out of her spaceship.
She's
and
the
then
hot
she's shown
one,
to us
the other
titty
one's
first.
The scared one.
She's also the sister is also shown to be the caregiver because she's a
because women
and their planet gets attacked by Tyler. Tyler kidnaps the sister. She goes to look for her sister here's
another thing
to a hyper-futuristic space city that looks like a 3D game.
I don't know if you guys watch this on subtitles, but there's a really stupid fucking joke related to that. Whenever I think her name's Julie, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't say her name until
we
like 30
had
minutes
subtitles
in.
on, yeah.
Okay, but when Julie goes up to the ship with whatever the fuck Billy Idol's character is, I think that's who.
Billy Idol's character is the one in the monk guy in
like
the
the
room.
one single goatee that just like.
The one that just hangs out with her and is a weird sim.
Why did Tyler not shoot that guy?
I don't know why she didn't shoot him because I don't know why Tyler didn't shoot him. He's essentially a deserter from Tyler's army.
Why did he know when? I like how everyone is saying, why didn't he just die?
Yeah. Because
Oh, I know what joke you're talking about. The shut the fuck up one where
No. That's the second one. Before they're like entering port ANUS, and I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
right,
it's anus. Fuck this movie.
Fuck this.
That's the cleverest joke in this movie.
That's not even the cleverest joke. It's making people watch it. At least I pirated it, so they made no money off of this show.
Okay, so they have a wacky space chase that takes them to a desert planet.
And when
Julie gets like her clothes ripped off.
And then
the
wears
journey,
something even more.
and then like wears like some slinky nightgown, and then they have a big final battle where Julie runs around in a sling bikini.
Once they hit this desert planet, I turned to Kirk and I was like, cool. So the whole second act is just going to be nothing on this planet until they fight the bad guy at the end, and that was what happened. Also, there's this dumb twist at the end after she kills Tyler.
I love this. I
Where,
love this twist
where,
so much.
where the monk played by Billy Idol is like, I'm actually a member of the ancient alien race that is seeking immortality.
And then it's the stupidest CG.
And then he reveals his true form, which is this like CG version that looks so bad.
My favorite thing is
this CG creature's only in the movie for like 2 minutes. Why didn't they just animate him normal?
No. What's funny is that they only ever show him doing one walk cycle, and that is one direction or the other direction. And the walk cycle is so goofy. And he's like, I'm gonna go do it, and then
the Rock minions.
This is after they kill Tyler.
And then Julie doesn't even save the day. The Rock minion does.
Julie stops Tyler, and then the monk played by Billy Idol is evil. And so now The Rock has to stop Billy Idol.
The monk evil twist is introduced maybe 10 minutes?
It is introduced probably less than 10 minutes before the film's end.
And
he's defeated.
It's amazing how it feels so forced and rushed, but also like, oh wow, the one guy who is covering his face the whole time has a secret.
How did they get Billy Idol to act in this movie and compose music for it? Was he a fan of the comic? Was he a fan of the comic?
Well, he's an awful person.
The Melting Pot it's based on the comic The Melting Pot by one of the people who made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Huh. So the least based.
Yeah.
Fuck this movie.
This is a very bad
movie. Fuck this movie. We're gonna exercise it later.
1 out of 10. Some of the backgrounds are good.
1 out of 10.
Some of the backgrounds are good. Some of the backgrounds.
Nothing that is 3D animated is anywhere above like.
If you like anything about what we just described, just watch Treasure Planet.
I can't imagine anything we just described ringing any positive bells in anyone's mind, unless you want to see hot lady character.
There is a very big sexual assault warning that needs to be placed.
Oh yeah,
we'll probably put one before we review.
Yeah,
it is awful.
All right,
I had to skip. We
need to go do something, but when we get back, when you see us again,
why don't we just
exercise
right now?
Okay,
we're done with the video.
I'll go grab my lightsaber and my cat's TV.
Oh, we have to do this. I forget.
Yeah. The Exorcism. Have fun watching that.
I'll get my shoes on.
Sorry you had to watch Heavy Metal 2000, but now it's Exorcism time.
I barely watched it.
Yes, it's perfect. I'm not even low battery.
I did finish it.
I thought we were gonna have to come back and record the last 2 sections tomorrow, but we sped run. We sped run through it. I don't feel like we sped run Fantasia 2000. Fantasia just inherently isn't something you talk about for that long.
But yeah, you can't talk about it. Robot Carnival's interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Heavy Metal 2000. You disgusting piece of trash. You wasted an hour and 30 minutes of our time, and for what? Bad?
It's not even the worst of anything we've watched. Like, it's not the most offensive movie. It's not the worst.
Offensive?
Probably like Sucker Punch
or Meet the Feebles.
Yeah, it's not even. I'd say Heavy Metal Original and Heavy Metal 2000 are equally bad in different ways.
Yes.
So it doesn't even.
You didn't even be the worst at anything, which makes you the worst at everything. What do you have to say for yourself before I banish you to the shadow realm?
Now everybody's in the shot.
Yeah. Billy Idol doesn't deserve a career.
Sus.
Avast!
I don't know, man.
The Among Us movie would have been better.
This is the most chaotic. Just trying to put this Fear podcast together. Fear.
Fear.